use of his gravity field than any other Victor I've seen, as far as preventing the other team from getting initiations. And as long as he's not getting hit by the Ash arrows, his gravity field can stop the follow-up initiations a lot of the time.
And one of their biggest tools as well for dodging those initiation tools that SKT are bringing is the speed that CoreJJ on the Karmas bring. We already saw it in lane a little bit with Ruler, dodging that Ash arrow as CoreJJ applied the speed to him, but that will also be crucial as far as those mid-game picks that we are anticipating in these Vision Wars.
Pressure now in the mid lane as Samsung Galaxy grouped up. Got themselves that dragon. They maintain a fairly passive control of the map. Only outer tower remaining is now behind Faker. They're going to commit some resources to taking that down because they don't have a tower to fall back to. That safety net rather, is just not there.
The other thing about setting that up with the Ashe is Bang is one of those players who's played Ashe for a very long time, and he's the guy that will sneak into the pocket of Fog of War to fire it from so that you have less time to dodge. So the wards not only will serve as teleport locations, but also early alert, to try and see the Ashe arrows come and try and dodge those out.
Yeah, so much of that is prepped by the vision control very early on. The pink ward control in the mid lane for SKT is pretty good, and I think some of that spews from the mid lane turret being down already.
I think it's fair to say that SKT's vision this game has been 1 or 2 steps ahead of Samsung's over the course of the 4 games. It feels like they've pushed vision in very deep. They've cleared vision out where needed in the areas they're prioritizing.
And a lot of times, Samsung will actually be ahead in the warding stats. They placed more wards in this series by SKT by a long shot. But that's because SKT switches over to sweepers so much earlier. You can see even in this game already 2 sweepers, and that's actually how they caught the pink ward, was Wolf running through their own jungle with the sweeper to get rid of it. And there's another example of it right there.
Exactly, switch over the sweepers very early. Also, when you're in control of the map, as SKT have been in control for a very large portion of those early games in the series, don't have to replace your pink wards as often, as they're not getting killed out by the enemy, leading to lower numbers, but higher control, a little bit deceptive.
Okay, so Samsung's in control. They've got a minor lead. They've got a good mid-game team composition. And good flash. Wow. Respect flash from Ruler. Now Samsung is in the position that SKT have been in 2 games. Going into the mid-game with somewhat of a lead. It's not as big, but how does SKT play from behind? Let's see as Blank is being jumped on. Very good curtain call. This is going to be the target of Blank teleports. Matched 1-for-1 in the river in mid lane. Oh, Maelstrom. Bang just gets blown up. Blank gets turned on. He gets kicked back into the mid lane. Cube is going to get dropped, so that makes it a 1-for-1. Looks like Blank's able to get away for now.
Yeah, he had a very quick flash there right off of the screen, so he was able to get out.
Yeah, really hectic engage right there as they trade 1-for-1, and even though Faker landed a decent shockwave, it wasn't nearly enough to save Bang, who had taken a lot of harass from Ruler's initiation. This is kind of the classic matchup we've seen this year between the Ashe and the Jhin, where yes, Ashe can fire with the arrow, but the curtain call can be just as threatening on the enemy AD carry.
All right, gonna use that Ghost Blade 2 more shots, even though caught by a prison. Crown is gonna use that
Did they overstay?
That's gonna catch Faker. That's very important to prevent further engage. And look at that, captive audience slows Duke down and prevents any further chase. Samsung get the tower.
Huge for Samsung. They get all of the outer turrets, and that is so much in the next step of the vision game. Here we go, though, with the ultimates that you're talking about from Jhin onto Bang, and he doesn't respect that teleport in. Cube is definitely going to immediately use his ultimate. Yes, he gets stunned under tower range by Duke, which is great to get the counter kill for them, but not going to be able to get any more out of it. And by the way, with that flash as well, Blank did save his passive for cell division on Zac, so there's the 2-step initiation of the Ashe arrow into the Zac slingshots that's still very much available, and he has the confidence that he's got the extra passive to die in that middle of the team fight as well.
Yeah, already 2 Drakes to 0 for Samsung. If he gets Crown, no, got flash.
He does indeed flash away from Crown. Ambition sidesteps the arrow. It was CoreJJ that ate it. He's now going to flash into the blue pit and continue backing away. Blank, elastic slingshots over the wall. There's still a tower here for Crown and Ambition to get in. Very good Aqua Prison and another elastic slingshot. Crown will go down. Throws down a gravity field to buy some escape time.
SKT relentless. They have so many of these CC abilities, these tools for initiation, that they continue to attack Crown, and he can't get any more flashes, so.
Yeah. Really good extended fight there by SKT, taking a small numbers advantage at the start and being willing to spread out as they chase everyone of Samsung down.
Oh, Faker.
Speaking of which, that also happened before the fight, which meant they had a numbers advantage more so when they're going in there. Huge play there by Faker.
And that's the kill that Faker couldn't pull off earlier in the series, where he's flashing for Crown and just misplayed it. This time around, gets his man.
Wow, so that actually means that it was 2 kills as well as the Drake, and that gives them a gold lead for the first time in quite a while.
But going back to the question just before all that happened, kill Samsung Galaxy and take the dragon. Seems like a pretty easy answer to how do SKT play this mid game. Constant engages from the Zac. Definitely much bigger impact than the Kindred pocket pick from Ambition.
Yeah, definitely a big move for SKT. But remember, Samsung, they have been controlling the Dragon previously, and they've already got the Infernal and the Mountain in their pocket, which is going to help a lot towards the late game. Whereas the Ocean Drake is going to fall off, and another Ocean Drake is coming up, so not really an opportunity for SKT to answer as far as those spawns are concerned. And really, it is going to be so much about, are these Ash Arrows going to hit? Are they going to fire over these wards? And who's got Flash Up? Neither of the carries for Samsung have Flash Up at the moment.
Well, Ruler doesn't need it.
Gotta walk yourself out then.
Bitman's gonna safeguard in a second. Gets caught by Let's Bounce. The kick, the shockwave delivery system. That allows a kill onto Ambition. Curtain Call is only tagging the tank. And Blank has just got so much HP and armor.
And even without these Ash Arrows connecting, you're seeing how difficult it is for Samsung to 1-3-1 safely. Because as soon as they have Crown in the top lane, SKT is fearless in their initiation.
Relentless engage from SKT, and they're not done yet.
That's more.
All right, Blankson gonna get jumped on by 2 members, but the support from Wolf as well as Bang coming up from the river. SKT grab themselves another kill. And it feels like whenever Samsung do not have a flash, they are such a juicy target.
Remember that the backline for SKT is also quite juicy as far as Cuvée is concerned with the Kennen. His flash, his teleport, both about to come off of cooldown when he hits level 16.
So where are the wards, Kobe? I can see one in the bottom lane behind Duke. It's not the most ideal of targets. A couple in the mid lane. So SKT would have to overextend to present themselves as a, juicy, perfect target for Cuvée.
It's true, and also Duke would have to have less split push pressure, because even though the Kennen has the early shove on the Gnar, when you get that Frozen Mallet and Spirit Visage, it becomes really difficult for Cuvée to actually get a window with which to teleport.
Also, as you can see by the cooldown on that Proto Belt, he constantly uses the Proto Belt to clear minion waves, so then wouldn't have it if there's an on-demand teleport, if something breaks out, and you need to have these instant responses, because as we talked about, SKT decision-making is lightning quick.
It's allowed them to win 2 games of the series. Faker threw down the Ghost and the Shockwave, didn't kill Core JJ. We've gone over 30 minutes, and it's a 1,500 gold lead for SKT. The towers are even. Baron is starting to become a juicier and more interesting target. And Blank has picked up GA, so not only does he have Cell Division, he's also got that Guardian Angel. So nice, you have to kill him thrice. If at all.
Great feeling, actually, to be able to die multiple times. Just charge straight into the fight. We'll see if it's necessary, even though. As Bang, again, looking for those pockets of Fog of War. They're all on the bottom side of the map at the moment. Samsung know that, they can't let up as far as the vision control around Baron at the moment.
Yeah, and Quickshot, you mentioned Guardian Angel, but the Death Cap and Void Staff completed on Faker, and then the Infinity Edge and the crit build being completed on Fang. SKT is incredibly strong right now. We don't have the same level of item power spikes on Ruler or Crown right now, so really if SKT can get some type of pick here, it could turn into a massive advantage.
Well, this is where the scaling side of the SKT comp really starts to come into its own. Black Cleaver now picked up for Duke. Cuvée sitting on his 3-item spike, Void Staff, Hourglass, and that Proto Belt. But he needs the wards. He needs to get in behind SKT to win a team fight, because if you look at all the damage on Samsung Galaxy, it's going to take so many rotations of spells to get through Zac and Gnar alone, if they're on a straight-up head-to-head fight.
There is a huge amount of pressure on Cuvé's shoulders to run the makeshift front line using the zoning of his ultimate, but then also the invulnerability of his Zhonya's. There's plenty of damage on Samsung. Once someone does get stunned up, with the ultimate of Kennen, you know, Crown has been magnificent at layering his gravity shields, gravity fields.
Now Cheryl onto Ambition. Blank's coming in from behind. And the fight's now going to break out. Gravity Field will pull Blank backwards. That should be the GA pot. Cell Division still available. Curtain Call interrupted. Very good tidal wave. He's found 3. Blank charges up. The Maelstrom, the Slingshot. Faker's down. Samsung get 3.
Quick shot, just like we talked about, the wards, and SKT move right up into Samsung's jungle, right where they want him. They collapse. Now it's going to be the Baron for them as well.
And it's nothing that SKT can do about it at this point. They meander into a fight in Samsung's jungle and get absolutely obliterated by Samsung's response. That is the reverse of what you expect when watching SKT, who normally is the reactive team.
The arrow onto Lee Sin, who simply safeguards away. And even though Blank has multiple lives, you don't want to use them inside the jungle. They corner themselves. Gnar is not there to start it out either, and that is the dream flank. All members of the back line for Cuvée. When the pressure is on, the weight on his shoulders, he grabs them all.
Not to mention the tidal wave was used to interrupt the curtain call, which left no disengage once Cuvée had entered the fight. Massive play.
That's a Blank special. Just overreaching. No, just overreaching.
You've seen it so many times. And that's why Bengi seems to sync better with SKT sometimes. He was over the wall. He didn't hit anyone with his elastic slingshot. And then everyone was waiting around for his Guardian Angel.
All right, I love criticizing Blank, but that was probably a team call.
One of your favorite things.
It was probably a team call there because they went with Ash Arrow. They wanted to engage on it.
All right, tidal wave was thrown down in the mid lane.
They get Faker!
Galaxy, they've killed Faker. We didn't see the setup, but it doesn't matter. With Baron buff looking to make a play. I can see Ambition's flashes down. I'm sure we're going to replay that.
Much like in the last game, Samsung get Baron, Faker tries to defend an outer turret, and Ambition just sneaks in the backside to get the kickoff. This is going to be another big Baron power play for Samsung.
Already at 3,000 gold. They take their 5th tower of the game. They're sieging up in multiple lanes. Now they're pressuring the mid inhib. 28 seconds before Faker can respawn. Inhib on the bottom lane is down. Samsung are now pushing onto the inhibitors. 15 seconds before Faker comes up. Mid and bottom might just fall in a matter of seconds. Mid
oh my God.
Synchronized inhib. Ruler gets tagged, instantly throws the QSS down and is able to run away.
Woo! We are getting closer and closer to a 5th game in the World Finals, which we have never had before, but Samsung would have to be able to close. They're 5,000 gold up, and SKT will continue to scale.
And almost all of that gold came from this Baron power play. This is approaching a 6,000 gold Baron power play here. Look at that, Ambition goes in, finds Faker again. This is almost like we're watching it over and over again. Ambition in on Faker, takes him down.
Yeah, and Blank, down his Guardian Angel, down his Cell Division. Going to be difficult for him to get a good engage, especially because Samsung is just using their zone control, staying spread out. They have the QSS on Ruler already, and when they get the Mikhails onto Core JJ, that Asher initiation won't be possible.
Oh, Ambition's looking for Faker again. Not going to find him just yet. Let's bounce, interrupting the possibility of a
dead.
Ambition is now down. SKT turning it around. Core JJ gets caught out. The Mega Gnar comes down as well. That's 2 kills for SKT. Samsung unable to find a kick this time around.
Great punish there from SKT, making Ambition pay this time around. And that should be enough to actually buy them a huge amount of time for those inhibitors to come back up. Yes, we just had a game where Samsung had multiple SKT inhibitors down, yet it took them 70 minutes. So we could very well be in for the long haul.
Yeah, watching this attempt one more time, they do see Faker on a ward, so they think they can get the pick. Because if they get this with 2 inhibitors down, they think they win the game. But he can't sneak behind him here. And then he gets heavily punished by the tidal wave and the ultimate from Faker, timing just right with the Gnar teleport.
That's the thing with Lee Sin. He usually needs Flash to pull off the really miraculous plays. And without the extra ability there, Ambition, a little bit too much.
The scale of SKT's deficit is not the same as Samsung Galaxy, but they find themselves in a similar scenario. They're behind. Their opponents have got strong map control. There's super minions on the map. And Samsung Galaxy are looking great route, but Duke managed to hop away. Juve's still gonna...
It's a matter of how much help he has. He has no one to help him right now.
All right, there's no support. This should equal a kill. The hop, the bounce,
Great
the final
hop.
shot. Not gonna find his target. The stun does. Juve combos with Ruler.
And the 2 inhibitors are still down. There will be one wave of super minions that I think crashes in the bottom side as they assault this outer turret.
And that was a very dodgeable skill there from Duke, and he just runs straight instead of taking the half step backward, eats the root, ends up going down, and now Ambition once again.
He gets caught up by Enchanted Crystal Arrow, the bubble, the bounce, everything. Chaos Storm is buying some time. Bang is forced to run away. Look at the damage from those ticks over and over, and the tower falls.
Yeah, but I like SKT countering that play, knowing Ambition was going for the flank.
Juve though!
He's looking for more. Wolf is able to get away to safety. The tower is being focused by Ruler and Crown. That means all towers except Nexus are down.
You can tell this team refueled after that victory. The resurgence here from Samsung, looking to get 3 inhibitors already, only 30 minutes into the game.
And because of the super minions pushing the bottom turret, SKT weren't able to punish in the upcoming 4v5 with Duke respawning. Samsung knew what they had right there, and they were able to take advantage of it.
A far more convincing game this time around from Samsung, looking to even this series up.
And I think that's a key word, though, Kobe, looking to even the series up. Yes, they got the 3 inhibitors down. 2 of them will be respawning pretty soon. And maybe they'll be able to take the Elder Drake and the Baron defense from there. They still have the potential of a Zac with an Orianna. But with the way Samsung's been playing, it doesn't seem that likely to work for SKT.
The thing is, with this composition, when you open up the map this much, you can't even open up the map further for Samsung. There are so many spots that SKT have to clear for wards. There's almost no way they can be confident if they ever go out to contest an objective that there's not a ward behind them. They constantly have to be looking over their shoulders for Juve.
Because of the death cap as well. He's had that one great initiation, and there's the threat of the other one. That's what they should be using to try and secure this Baron and this Elder Drake. The order, even though Elder Drake comes up first, should be Baron to the Elder Drake, because the Baron lasts much longer, and they want to maximize their time with both buffs.
Samsung Galaxy on the verge of making history here at the World Championship, potentially going to 5 games against a team that everyone expected to just wipe the floor with Samsung, and they've showed incredible grit throughout the series. Playing from behind, and now they've started Baron proactively.
Juve is hoping they come into the choke so he can get the flank on them, but he can't get caught on his. Go for Faker!
He's gonna find Faker and kill him, but he used the slicing maelstrom. Blank is in the pit with Ambition. That's a good Ash arrow.
No,
Picked up
they got
by
it too.
Samsung Galaxy. Blank is now left alone in the pit. Duke running for his life. A couple more tags. Cube can't find the stun just yet. Tidal Wave sends him fishing. Crown throwing down those death rays over and over. Blank is exhaust. The curtain call. The gravity. Bang! Kills. It's a double for Bang.
Holy! Bang comes up huge right there! He's able to save the game for SKT!
It's not over. Blank slingshots into the mid lane. Core JJ's looking to bounce him down. The ebb, the flow, not going to be enough for the kill just yet. Here comes Ambition. Rulers on a rampage. Ambition looking for the Sonic Wave. Duke hops away and gets to safety.
If Crown was able to close that kill onto Bang, we would be listening to Silver Scrapes right now before Game 5.
But don't play it that early.
Just play for 10 minutes. Wolf, though, I cannot underscore Wolf's exhaust when Crown went for the flash was critical in keeping them alive in that setup. And this game is still far from over.
Whew. All right, let's take another look at the kill from Faker's perspective. No time to react at all.
On a Jhin trap, too, so really no escape there. But they go for the Baron Shield, don't get it. And at this point, SKT needs to be in a full retreat. Duke knocks Cube back a little bit, and Crown has just running as fast as he can right here, and he wants the assassination onto Bang. That's all he cares about.
He wants to end the game right now. They're
exhaust immediately.
If that was in there, they would be able to finish it completely. Bang flashes over the gravity field. Lifesteals his way there. Comes up huge for SKT once again.
Samsung Galaxy still maintain control. Baron on a couple of their members. and exposed inhibitors in the middle and bottom lane. As we crest the 40 minutes, Bang sets another World Championship record this series. It's 460 CS. Ambition is looking for Wolf. He's caught in the jungle.
Kind of on his own here.
Completely by himself. Gets the Dragon's Rage, eats a Shockwave. A lot of ultimates used. Samsung now in a 4v5, 4v4 as Duke was not there.
A critical mistake there by Ambition, because that delays their setup for the Elder Drake and gives Duke time to clear the super minions in the lane with the exposed inhibitors. So Ambition definitely going a little bit too hard there. Last game was definitely the Ambition show. This game he's actually being carried a bit by the rest of his team.
And time is exactly what SKT need. They have such a solid team fight composition. If they can make it to the point to even up the war chest here, the gold is starting to close, and the vision game could be in for another banger.
I think we already are, Kobe.
Yeah, this is a barn burner if I've ever seen one. And this series could really heat up if we're able to get to the 5th game. We mentioned SKT with the potential of the reverse sweep. That's what happened the last time when they lost to KT Rolster in the LCK playoffs. You didn't think it would be possible here against Samsung, but Samsung thinks otherwise.
Gentlemen, to give you an idea of how much of a barn burner, 10 Barons and 21 Dragons in 4 games with the potential of more. Samsung Galaxy start the Elder Dragon using some of their abilities, and Duke is still pushing in the top lane.
Yeah, tight timings here because they would need to teleport in right now for Duke, and I need to see his Meganar bar.
He's trying to charge it up halfway there.
All right, Dragon is going to reset. The minion wave continues to push. Duke has arrived. He's in the pit. No flash available. Elder Dragon down to 4,000. It seems to be focused. Samsung
blank combo
away. It's not reset just yet. Curtain call onto Wolf is going to get interrupted by the tidal wave. And Cuvee has found Bang and
Great Sonya.
Push them away. But Blank is bouncing all up in Samsung Galaxy. The shockwave kills Cuvee. Blank is going low. Blank is going to flash away. Duke's in trouble. Ruler can't get the kill. He does in the end. Sends him packing with a deadly flourish. Now Duke's in trouble. The GA's pop. Ruler gets another. Finds the shutdown. Turns his attention into Duke. And Samsung Galaxy are pushing into the base.
Ruler, Rookie of the Year, flashes forward for the play for Samsung to get back inside the base.
What a game for Ruler, but that fight was so close right there. Crown staying full health this entire time, and the question is, will that be enough to close the game? It's just Faker and Blank trying to defend.
2 versus 4. Samsung Galaxy waiting for the minions to push in. They've got their second inhib.
Blank's cutting off the minion wave as well, so they can't actually get minions into the base.
Couple of pings on the top inhibitor. The rest of Samsung pushing around. Ambition and Blank starting to go toe-to-toe. Jungler on jungler action. Shockwave catches Ruler, but the Defiance comes up. Crown shuts him down. That's a good kill. The 3rd inhibitor falls. Samsung waiting for the supers.
Can't cut all the minion waves. Cuve's here now.
Cuvee is running into Blank. That's the GA. That's gone down. Cell division might still be up, and it will not matter.
With 3 inhibitors down and 2 players, it's a matter of time, you would think. It's just Bang, Wolf, and Duke to try and prevent a Game 5.
Oh, let's see the final push. Samsung Galaxy, they throw down the curtain call. The music is about to play. Silver Scrapes, cue it up. Samsung now running for their lives. Ash Arrow onto Cuvee. Gets it crowd. The slicing maelstrom. That stays Bang packing. There's not done yet. The Nexus turrets are the focus. And Staples Center play the Silver Scrapes. Samsung and SKT are going to Game 5.
And 22 minutes into Game 3, you never would have thought this would be possible. But now Samsung is 1 win away from being a world champion.
A completely rebuilt team, bringing players back from CBLOL, from the NALCS, from retirement almost, and from solo queue. Ruler steps up.
From the history books, Ambition role swaps to jungle. The greatest player to never make Worlds is in a Game 5 championship bout in his first time here.
Greatest roll swap of all time.
Yeah, and
Has to be.
We're blessed so far with this series because this is the first World Final to go all 5 games. I cannot wait for this 5th game just to see. I mean, I'm expecting Bengi to sub back in. That blank substitution did not work whatsoever. He was mismatched with the team in the initiations, and the Zach pocket pick didn't work out very well from them. This is the moment where these teams are truly tested.
They said only the Tigers could push SKT this far.
Wrong.
But Samsung has done it.
They have indeed. We're going to game 5. We're going to head down to the analyst stage to take a look at just how well Samsung won game 4.
We asked for it at the beginning of the day, gentlemen, and Samsung Galaxy has delivered a game 5 for us here. 2 wins for SKT, 2 followed up by Samsung Galaxy, and boy, is this venue heating up.
And after the second game, I was taunting the Fisher, like, you got to listen to the superior analyst, clear 3-0, and he was like, yeah, and then suddenly everything went downhill from there.
Everything went downhill. Started game 3, obviously.
Went
with
uphill.
the big, well, it went uphill for Samsung, downhill for SKT, you know, and your prediction, obviously, but we saw that game 3, this was the big turnaround for Samsung. Game 4, you can see how much it means for them now. My voice is gone, I've been yelling in here as well because this is just absolutely crazy to watch. But seeing Samsung in the early game now play much, much better, not make the same over-aggressive mistakes and then get punished for them. There were still a few mistakes here and there, but both teams have had the same ones.
Yeah, definitely. And that was the first early game out of Ambition where I'm like, this guy is now on point, getting multiple camp steals, tracking Blank around the jungle. That's all you have to do against Zach because this guy needs to impact with his ganks, and he wasn't able to do that because of the Lee Sin.
I'm still so worried for the Samsung bot lane in the early game, though. Every single game they play, they're getting murdered, especially once the CS hits like 20 to 30. Ruler seems to get stuck in really poor trades every single game, and then Samsung get, honestly, a big deficit right there, but on the top side of the map. If you have a deficit bot side, you need to start winning top side, and the man to do that was Cuvée. What a performance from him in that top lane.
Yeah, one of the big things we talked about coming into the series was counterpicking top.
Yep.
And how important it was. You've seen both top laners do it every single game now. They're able to get like good matchups if you were picking last as a top laner. Kennen was the second time we saw it. First time he won the lane big time, but then he got dove 500 times and he just ended up dying and did absolutely nothing in team fights. This game he had a good laning phase, got a solo kill as well, and he took that into team fights. Some beautiful flanks. We even have a replay of one of the insane flanks he pulls off.
Yeah, and we'll get to that replay in just a moment as we see SKT on our screens here going over what their plans might be for Game 5 here. Spawn, take this away.
And this just shows how much on a different page Blank is from the rest of the team because they're going to initiate onto Ambition here. And Blank decides that he's going to dive over the opposite side of the red buff. And it's just, he isolates himself for no purpose.
Yeah, and you are Zach. When you use your slingshot to not even get into the fight, you are doing absolutely nothing. He actually jumped in and just painted a big arrow above his head and said, please go for me, and then Cuvée shows up.
And this is what happens when you don't have to go Zhonya second, when you can get the snowboard void stuff. He even has his Zhonyas as well, and he honestly just tears through that backline.
And that's honestly a great point that Spawn brings up right there, because a Kennen that has the lead, not only can he itemize more efficiently for power teleports, but also you can just keep pushing the lane, allowing for yourself to have more windows of opportunity to exactly use that teleport. In the previous game where he picked Kennen, as the Fisher alluded to, he won lane, but then he got pushed in, meaning he could never really get any teleport. There wasn't any deep vision. But right now, Samsung lured SKT in their jungle, and they punished them super hard.
Yeah, we have to, of course, look at Blank, who got subbed into this game. Picked the Zach. He's played it before already here in playoffs, so it's not like the pick itself is super surprising. But you need so good coordination to play Zach Orianna especially, because you want to coordinate like the proper ball setups and then like a beautiful engage into a fight. He had multiple attempts in the mid lane where they looked very off. We actually saw Samsung win a lot of those skirmishes in the mid lane, and then we just saw that big replay where he jumps in and just literally sets himself in front of Samsung and just allows him to kill him.
Well, let me use the Bengi Blank situation to push us forward to this 5th game, because Bengi is being subbed back in. So after that loss, Game 5, SKT's putting their chips back into the Bengi basket here. And Samsung Galaxy, well, they've chosen blue side. So what are our primary thoughts or preliminary thoughts going into Game 5?
We need a strong pick. If you're an SKT fan, you want a strong pick on Faker, and you want, again, Bengi to play around that mid lane. Because if you're watching Faker's player cam throughout the game, he was getting a little bit frustrated at the end as well. He was raising his hands up. Faker has shown that in the past. He's also shown that if you make him angry, which he is right now, he will smash you in the next game. So I'm very excited to see what that guy does.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see if he can transition from what was a really sloppy game with his jungler back to the jungler that he's comfortable with, and whether he can execute really crisply, because that's going to be pretty key in this game.
All right, well, here's the thing. The graphic is up, so now I'm going to go back down the line. I'm going to ask you guys, with this 5th game in mind, I'm going to give you the chance to change your minds here on your predictions. So, Crepo, starting with you, who's going to walk away world champion tonight?
I'm going to change my prediction. Instead of a 3-0, I'm going to go for a 3-2. SKT is still going to win it because they put Bengi back in.
All right, so Bengi back in, seals the deal for you. Crepo in a 3-2 now. But Spawn, what are you thinking?
You know, in LCK playoffs, when KT got the reverse sweep, I was so happy. Big KT fan back from when they were KTA. And then when they lost out to the Samsung roster, I was like, KT didn't die for this. Well, turns out they did, because they're going to reverse sweep SKT as well. I'm going to flip-flop on this one and lock it in for Samsung.
There it is. We got our vote for Samsung here on the desk. Deficio, what do you got?
Well, you got the crowd with you as well there, Spawn. I think Samsung will have, you know, a super, super good advantage coming into this, just in terms of mindset, attitude, everything. I do think, however, SKT has the experience to pull this one back, to get Bengi back in there. They're going to play much better with the jungler early on. They're going to get some dragon control. And I'm going to stick to the prediction I had earlier in the day. Competitive series. It will go back and forth, but SKT will win in the end.
Okay, but now I'm going to make you all flip-flop here. I'm going to make you all flip-flop here. So back down the line, though. I want you to give me the reason or the way that Samsung Galaxy wins, and then I want you to give me the reason or the way that SKT wins.
You want to go first?
All right, so the way Samsung is going to win this game is they need to, first of all, have a pick in mid lane where they can actually gank around it. And we saw the Victor be very successful because they had Jhin coming in, they had support coming in, they had jungle coming in, everything. Victor against Orianna, I actually think that's a fine matchup for them. So I want to see that matchup again. I think SKT will also take it. Can be fine for both sides. And then also for top lane, QV, he needs to have a strong laning phase, and he cannot start falling behind because they need him to set up these big team fights.
All right, so you're looking for the solo lanes to make up for an expected deficit
Yes.
in the bot lane. Now, Spawn, flipping back over to SKT. How does SKT walk away with victory here after sustaining 2 losses? We have to remember that this is a team that just lost twice in a row.
Yeah, and you know, yesterday I said that they have 4 players not in my top 20 at Worlds, and I'm going to stick to that because 4 of them are playing real poorly today. However, they do have the best and second best player in the world. I think the Faker is still the best. I think Bang stepped up huge. And I think that if for one game these guys can just go off and exploit their counterparts, they will be able to pick up the victory. However, the rest of the team needs to stop feeding for that to happen.
And Ben Lee's in, by the way. Ambition is making some plays, some good and bad ones, but he's making a lot of proactive plays, and Samsung needs that.
All right, anything left to be said here, Crepo, or are you just going to smile and nod? That's okay, you're a pretty man. You can afford to do that.
I just hope Duke stops trying to be a hero.
Yeah.
He keeps going for these plays because a lot of QV's solo
So do
kills
Wolf.
come from Duke aggressing first. If the plan is for SKT to play around mid lane and get Faker comfortably and have him chip away the turret, Duke is fine being in a CS hole, but he doesn't have to keep going for the place and dying, because that's exactly the moment where QV takes over the game, and then the advantage spills over, and suddenly that bot lane deficit doesn't matter anymore. So I'm just looking for a strong performance in the bot lane and the mid lane from SKT, and Duke, just stop dying.
All right. Well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. After 5 weeks of competition, it all comes down to a single game. We'll be back with the deciding clash between SK Telecom T1 and Samsung Galaxy right after this.
Up in the top lane, Duke and QV, they're going toe-to-toe. Slicing Maelstrom burns through. Flash for flash, QV, first blood! Solo kills Duke! Very good tidal wave. Duke, he's found 3. Charges up the Maelstrom, the slingshot, Faker's down. SKT turning it around. Poor JJ gets caught down. The Mega Narc comes down as well. Blanker's exhaust, the curtain call, the gravity. Kills. It's a double for Bang. Duke's in trouble. Ruler can't get the kill. He does in the end. Sends him packing with a deadly flourish. Now Duke's in trouble. The GA's pop. Ruler gets another. Samsung and SKT are going to game 5. And welcome back to the 2016 League of Legends World Championship, where it's all come down to this. One more time into the breach, Samsung Galaxy or SK Telecom. Samsung have elected blue side, as is their want in game 5. SKT have brought back Bengi.
The most important champion select switch. They have chosen to put Bengi in. Because honestly,
Unbelievable series. And there is so much on the line here in terms of SKT's legacy, and you know how much Faker and the rest of SKT care about this because, I mean, to win 3 and 4 years when the sport is so young will mean they're going to be the greatest team in the history of League of Legends for a very long time. But Samsung can stop that with one more game.
The beauty is, if Samsung do that, they will actually tie the number of world championships that the organization has with SK Telecom. It was a 2-year road, and we've told the story a bunch. Last year, they were 10th and 9th, then 6th in spring. Didn't even make very far in the playoff run. And when we've seen the player cams of Faker on stage, he looks visibly upset and frustrated with how the series has gone. Kobe, how does Faker and the rest of SKT now bounce back with momentum technically with Samsung?
That late game poise, that discipline that we always talk about with this team has to show through here. This is where that comes to light. Game 5 of the finals. They showed it versus the Rocks Tigers, and they have to repeat here.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's going to be another Orianna game, because it can swing both ways. Either the fatigue catches up with Samsung and it's like the end of the Rock series where they lose the ability to flash the shockwaves, or have they wisened up to it and are very good at playing around it, because it seems like it's less effective almost each game he plays it.
I want to talk about that fatigue because these are some of the longest games that we've seen throughout the entirety of the World Championship. You know, 70-minute game, multiple 50-minute games. Fatigue with the finals, with the cup, with this crowd.
And it's not just the time duration either. These are emotionally and mentally draining games. When you get to the 60-minute mark in games like that, and the decisions that you have to make, you know, the pressure of playing in Fog of War, having to juggle Baron versus Elder Dragon versus inhibitors, and what decisions to make that quickly, it takes a toll on you.
It absolutely does. And you can see the man on your screen, Coma, running through his notebook, running through his options. We're just giving Bengi a couple of minutes to set up once he configures his play area. We're jumping into game 5. I'm going to put you guys on the spot. We're a couple minutes away from picks and bans. What would you anticipate? Because the question in my mind is Lee Sin worth banning or taking away from Ambition?
That's a great question, because we just have to look at the last time that SKT was on that side of the map. They threw double jungle bans and a Rise at them. So at that point, I say it's not quite worth banning, because I'd still rather see Ambition's Lee Sin than Crown's Rise, but it really would just depend on their confidence level of Faker playing something else into Rise.
Yeah, I don't think you can ban out the jungle currently. This guy also has an amazing Elise. He's received Elise bans before. I mean, these guys have deep champion pools at that position. The one place where I might see that happening would be mid lane. And as we talked about so many times, Faker's deep champion pool trying to attack the shallow one of Crown.
Yeah, throw more bans at Crown. The game
put them all out.
Seen
Throw them all
mid
mid-lane.
lane bans, and he doesn't play Victor. Just throw one more in there. Leave some junglers up, actually. Maybe even give Olaf over. That would be super risky. Maybe that's a bad idea. But that's something that if SKT feels a little bit desperate after losing 2 games, they might look to do.
To me, though, you know, consistently throwing multiple mid lane bans at Samsung, yet letting him have Crown, having Victor, which is the champion we confuse with Crown, and keep calling Victor Crown. There's a reason, because he's played so many games on that champion.
So comfortable, and Crown used the Aurelion Soul to pick up their first win in the series. Samsung Galaxy have equaled the number of wins against SK Telecom in the last 2 hours than they have in the last 2 years. They've put back-to-back wins on the map. They came into this best of 5 with a 2 wins, 16 loss record. With this iteration, you know, of mostly this players in this organization, they need to beat that record right now if they want to take the championship.
Must I remind you that they had not beaten KT Rolster in 19 straight games before taking them down in the gauntlet to make it here.
Every single step of the way from KT Rolster to this very game, Samsung have overcome the challenges, and this is the last one. Syndra, Rise, Nidalee, Zyra. What is next to be banned? Olaf still up there. Something that we've seen a couple of times as well.
Oh, I'm just so in awe of this series right now. But that is multiple mid lane bans from Samsung. And there is no way they can necessarily ban out the Olaf and the Lee Sin. Would be very curious to see if they ban the Olaf here with the Karma being banned already. Would still be a pretty scary pick. I'm
Throw the Victor. Throw the Victor. Make him play the Cassiopeia. Faker Orianna into Cassiopeia is a better matchup than Orianna into the Victor.
Ooh.
Still scared of their Aurelion Soul, though.
Okay, but now there's a lot of priority picks available, and it's near insta-lock for that Olaf.
That would be expected as he has been banned so much and is the best jungler on the board. But the question would now be, with that Victor up, does SKT take it away with an early pick? Do they go something like Ashe Victor here?
There's your answer.
That's the strategy.
Finally.
All right, so what is the reply then? If Ashe Victor is now locked in,
Either Crown tries to go the Orion into it, but I think it's Cassiopeia.
I think it's,
in all
I
honesty.
think he does stick with you know, what he has been playing and go with the Cassiopeia as well. But again, I talked about it last game, but we didn't see many of the Ashe arrows from Bang flying towards mid lane, you know, which is something that they found success on before. Maybe they try a bit more of that instead of using the Ashe arrows in lane. Because SKT so often wins through the mid lane, Faker's pressure, taking down these early turrets, using that space to get wards into the jungle and play from there.
And I do have to say, though, the early pressure of Victor isn't the same that he's been able to output on champions like Orianna. So even if it is Victor versus Cassiopeia, that's not a lane where Victor can take very early control of it, and it does change SKT a little bit. Oh! Tom Kench! It's so good against Ashe, too, especially preventing the picks in the mid game.
So, pivot, melee supports. This is something that the broadcast talked about much earlier in the day, how there could be a pivot away.
Double support bans.
Triple melee here from Samsung, trying to charge through SKT to the back line.
Very good you pick up on the triple melee there because they can stack things that are hard to run through right now. Trundle's pillar, nearly impossible. Victor and Ashe already very hard to charge through. So SKT's thinking smart here.
And the Lee Sin kick should be used defensively. Honestly, though, it's very difficult because, you know, Tom Kench gets to use the ultimate to teleport in very close, and Olaf goes immune to CC.
Well, that will be the 4th time that CoreJJ has played this champion at Worlds. Obviously undefeated as they had a fantastic run leading up to the finals. Lee Sin and Trundle are locked in. There's no speed ups or amplifiers here for the Samsung Galaxy squad. They've locked in Jin and Cassio. They'll sit behind that back line of Poppy, Tom, and Olaf.
CoreJJ's Tom Kench was so good and so instrumental in getting them here as well, you know, through that gauntlet that they had to run. You have to watch out for those mid-game uses of the Abyssal Voyage to try and surprise other lanes. Have to be very, very aware in the early game here for SKT.
Yeah, would we pivot back to a Braum in this lane instead of a Nami, which would be the other expected pick from SKT? I can see it as far as wanting to get a really, really hard to kill frontline when Cassiopeia and Jin are the main damage coming out from Samsung. Really almost defaulting back to some of the stuff we saw several months ago.
You gotta love the fact that this support AD carry meta, how it's adjusted and adapted throughout the course of the World Championship. The final game, a couple extra support bans, and we're back to Tom Kench versus Braum in the bottom lane.
We've come full circle.
We did it. This means there's only, you can't play more games in this. The circle is complete. Now who will win?
The cycle of melee and range supports.
Of course, the 2 bans didn't hurt.
Now, what do we think about these 2 team compositions? It feels like there's a little bit more damage on the side of the Samsung squad, but, you know, a lot of utility on SKT. I mean, they're still very heavily focused around mid and ADC.
Very evenly matched, these 2 compositions right here.
They have almost exactly the same style. You have really tanky champions in the top lane, melee supports, AD and high damage mids, with physical damage junglers. They are so close to each other as far as overall style goes that it's really just going to be about who the better team is.
In terms of lane matchups, early game, does that favor one particular composition more than the other? Because that was something that was very pivotal in game 4, and one great team fight broke open the scaling option that SKT had.
It really depends on how good Bang's Ashe is against Ruler's Jin right here, because I think Cassio can shove in Victor, and early on the Trundle Poppy is the Trundle favor matchup, so it's back and forth in a lot of different lanes.
Definitely excited to see about the early jungle pathing as well, because the opportunity is definitely here for Bengi to storm once again back into the game when SKT need him most to save the series.
Bengi was the big reason why SK Telecom took down the Rocks Tigers. Will he be a big reason for SK Telecom to win their 3rd World Championship? You guys know how to vote. It was down to 52% and 48%. Who takes the title? Who will be your world champion?
Or will these most unlikely of underdogs in Samsung upset the defending champions and touch the Summoners Cup?
Unbelievable. The way that the legacies will be changed based on the results of this map. You could have world champion Core JJ after this game. Everyone on Samsung, those players could call themselves world champions. Duke could win his 1st world championship. Faker and Bengi, their 3rd.
Ruler's
There's
rookie year.
so much. Yeah.
And again, it's just that storyline that, you know, both of these teams have very, very, very different backgrounds. But all of that feels in some way insignificant right now because of the context of this World Championship, because of the craziness of groups, the ridiculousness of Rocks versus SKT, and now Samsung have stepped up to the challenge. Something that they were counted out from. They were not meant to do this by all logic coming into the games.
The arena is dead silent right now in anticipation for this game to start.
Ha! Proved you wrong. Now they start making noise. I agree with you as far as the early jungle paths go, though. Look at this. Both junglers actually doing buff starts because I think they're guarding against the big play from the opponent, trying to go and catch them at a 2nd buff.
We touched on this what feels like 5 hours ago, but technically Faker's
was 5
Victor
hours ago.
has a significantly better win-loss ratio than Crowns. Again, that helps being on a more winninger team. And we'll see how Faker handles Victor against what is considered to be the world's best Victor.
SKT are the winningest team in World's history.
Yeah, they have
Yet all that matters is this one game.
Exactly, and they've also lost more games at this World Championship than ever before. This is now their 6th loss was what happened last game, but still, just matters how many games they're able to win.
Crazy to think that Samsung have lost 3 games to this World Championship to get to this point. A slightly favorable playoff bracket where they just ran through it. Faker this time round gets his hands on one of those mini Raptors.
Yes, Faker versus the Mini Raptors. Success.
He's technically 1-2. He's got a losing record against them. Just saying. From what we've caught on camera.
All right, there's the first jungler spotted on the ward. Ambition is seen at the Raptor camp, and Bengi's moving bottom while the mid laner is training.
Who's gonna get it? Crown's looking noxious blast.
Gonna go all in and kill him.
We've got to jump bottom. Ruler is gonna be in trouble. Can score? JJ's running for his life. First blood picked up by Wolf.
Wow! Bengi comes back into the series, grabs first blood for the bottom lane, and we'll see if Ambition has anything to say about it. He's got the Scuttle Crab, and he's going in to tax the Wolves.
Unbelievable right there, being able to pull off first blood. It goes to Wolf, however, which isn't the greatest distribution of gold. And Faker's down both summoner spells. Here comes Ambition!
Ambition's running in, Gravity Fields up. That will stun Ambition under the tower. Kill is secured, but Ambition loses his life.
Bengi got in experience range there, and he's going to be able to take up these minions. Wolf roaming! More action!
Here comes Bengi and Wolf. Crown's going to sidestep and dodge. He will get stunned up by the concussive blows. SK Telecom, 3 kills to 1.
And they jump out the gate, countering Samsung's play in the mid lane. Bengi arrives. Wolf is the main roam in that play.
Game 5 in the finals, and the action is breaking through. Faker gets a gravity field off to lock in the extra kill here on Ambition. Then the roam from Wolf so quickly.
Crown wanted to stick around to make sure the wave gets shoved in the turret, and he should have been straight back. Not calling the miss on Wolf right there, and everyone was expecting Wolf to be in base after what happened in the bottom lane, but after getting first blood, he roams on the melee support. Those are the guys that make the roam plays happen.
We come back to the game, and Bengi is still inside as Samsung's jungle, recalling as he's counter jungling, has smited Samsung's Wolf
again,
Spirit.
level 3.
Oh, a lot of damage onto Faker. Those twin fangs chunking him down. Bengi's still not left the jungle, for the record. He's now clearing out the Gromp, farming up away, and the fan vote looking to the underdogs and Samsung Galaxy.
One of the most insulting things is a jungler smiting your wolf camp spirit that early in the game. As it will see, as soon as Ambition goes back to farm, and Ambition didn't have vision, so he didn't take that opportunity to go in and counter jungle Bengi, even though they already had the vision down. They already had pink wards, so Bengi gets away with it. He catches up in the experience, and he's going to be able to farm his own jungle.
I agree, and the other thing we do have to keep track of, though, is when Ambition ran for the gank in mid lane, he did get some wards in SKT's jungle, so it's good of Bengi to make it all the way back to the blue buff, try and re-establish control over there, because with the melee supports, we're much more likely to see ganks in the bottom side, which means ward control in that half of the map becomes more important.
Talking about all those wards, there is a pink ward from SKT inside, just behind the wolf camp. Ambition moving closer and closer to it. We'll see how long that one does actually last. Duke was being pushed under his turret by Cuve. Cuve has just started to back away as Duke's completed that teleport, even on CS in those two lanes.
And Ambition was seen by the Wolf Spirit. There was a ping there for SKT, so they know he's on the top side. He's actually making a play right now, kind of born of desperation, since there are no camps for him to pick. Even though the Wolf Spirit did see him, he goes away, he steals the Krugs, and he might go for the gank on Duke to burn the flash.
So much counter jungling going on right now, and Ambition level 6 is an incredibly strong duelist. What do you want to make the counter gank onto Bengi? He's expecting Bengi to be in that brush. Would they collapse? It would be a close fight. Fake
I mean, he
not
can
yet level
safeguard
6.
pretty quickly.
2v2, Bengi is going to ward hop over. Does not opt in to the engage. Too much on the line, too risky. Bang is being pushed away. Rula and CoreJJ using that ranged poke, those tongue lashes to their advantage. They're playing fairly defensively. Good bounce.
Yeah, Wolf taking the harass. Samsung need to be able to get some advantages in that lane. The Jin and Tom can't pick, because you want to be able to unlock CoreJJ to roam. That's what he's been so successful at with his team.
Pink ward still sitting in that little banana bush area to the left of mid lane. Crown got blue buff. He's actually done fairly well at pulling Cloaker, but unfortunately he's donated a kill thanks to that tower dive in the end.
And notice how both junglers are hovering around the mid lane for that action, fighting over the Raptors now, as Bengi claims the small ones.
Yep, throwing it back and forth.
He doesn't have smite though for the big.
So Cube loses the trade thanks to the subjugate. And Duke is already winning this trade. Tiamat into Barmy Cinder. No real surprise. A slightly worrying, transition here for Samsung Galaxy.
Welcome to the Taco Show on the top lane with that Tiamat. Unless they're sending people to game, he's going to be shoved in for the rest of it.
Oh, sneaky play here from Bengi to try and steal this away under their nose.
Back if he needs to retreat.
A lot of damage onto Bengi. Crown posted up for this one. Flash away. Curtain Call still in range. The Miasma will block the movement. Curtain Call! Kill for Rula.
And that means Rula gets red as well. So a total backfire on that invade from Bengi. They didn't have the wave with which for Faker to support him. So uncharacteristically, Bengi makes a big Game 5 mistake.
Incredibly bold and, unwarranted play there from Bengi to steal away that red. As you said, Faker was not making any move to move up and support that play. Huge punish there from Samsung as they're gifted the kill and red buff onto the bottom lane.
Bengi giveth and Bengi taketh already in the first two big plays in this fifth and final game. So serrated Dirk, a kill under Rula's belt, and now red buff for next little bit of exchanges. CoreJJ level 5 does not have access to that Abyssal Void just yet. Bang and Wolf assume vision control, actually placing two of those invisible wards in the Tribush, making sure it's doubly covered.
And CoreJJ keeps getting cut off right here. He was a little lucky, actually. They didn't have vision on Ambition because they put all in.
Ooh,
whiff on the arrow.
It goes wide. Unbreakable wall comes up and Wolf backs away. So traded two ultimates really for an opportunistic attempt.
Also showed the jungler, so Bengi's trying to make the most of his time down here by taking the dragon, but that means Ambition, every time he sees Bengi opposite side, immediately he can go in and tax. This is actually something that Meteos talked about in his interview after their game versus Samsung. He was almost scared to make moves at times because Ambition would tax you so hard every time you show on the map.
Yep, and now the question would be, would they ever think about diving Duke? They would need to roam Crown up there as well, or is he just here for the CS? You'd expect just the CS.
Be the case.
Maybe mid lane as they're starting to rotate down, but
Yeah.
Faker taking the blues. They're not currently there to be dope.
The best timing on a mid laner is right to gank is right after they pick up the blue buff, because it's right when they want to start burning their mana to shove a wave, and oftentimes that means their skills are on cooldown, but nowhere close to that gank right now.
And let's talk about the mind games of the levels of the Vision War for a moment here, because they know that Ambition was just on the top side. So you have to assume that there are wards in there as well and work around that information that's been given over. Now, Bengi again going in on Crown.
Very aggressive, uses full complement of abilities, kicks Crown away, and Crown's gonna be all right. But there's a lot of exchange going down between Bang and Wolf.
It's a lot of harass too. This actually puts him in kill range for Faker, and if he doesn't recall to go back to base, he's going to heal up a decent amount from his refillable potion and his last hits, so should be generally okay since Faker's recalling.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be pressured just yet. Even game as far as gold is concerned. SKT, they were the first ones to make those plays, get the kills on the board. Bengi did overreach, actually much like Ambition. So both junglers this game have gifted a kill to their opponents. And they've got to be very careful as that continues to play out. The game is seemingly happening on the bottom half of the map. There's a Visceral Voyage. He's going to deliver CoreJJ and Ambition. Flash away from Bang. He gets gobbled up from the tongue lashing. Will go down. Root in place, not going to lock down Wolf. But Crown has roamed, and Wolf gets the kill.
And that's the CoreJJ playmaking right there on Tahm Kench. The instant he hits level 6, he brings Ambition in and the roam from Crown. Now, though, it's going to be a race to see who can get the first turret down.
Teleport being used there by Cube to try and defend the mid turret, and Samsung will capitalize with the objective on top of it. Finally, they're attacking the bottom lane, which SKT have lost 3 games to very strong AD carries. And as they talked about on the analyst test, Deficio mentioned one of the ways through SKT is through the bottom lane.
2,000 gold lead. They have the kill advantage, first tower blood, and it all stems from this phenomenal tower dive.
Yeah, they don't actually see if they're even able to bring in multiple people. Wolf and Bang can't get away in time. Love the flash follow for the eat by CoreJJ.
The Tahm Kench pick, once again, so huge for CoreJJ. And after you talked about the roam from Crown at the same time. This was a mistake that we saw earlier in the series from Samsung. They made a play on the bottom lane, but they didn't coordinate all members. This time around, they bring the mid lane guns and they get the extra kill plus first turret gold.
Yeah, and the fact that they didn't lose any of their other turrets is great, but they did sacrifice some damage on them, because when they burned the top laner's teleport to defend mid lane, they also lose chip damage on the top lane turret. So we're at an interesting inflection point of the game right now, where if Samsung can take control of the top side of the map and make sure the mid lane and top lane don't get pushed in as hard, then they can kind of negate the chip damage they took on their turrets and try and really expand this gold lead quickly.
And now the real test is on SK Telecom. They've lost the 2 games. In game 4 of this series, they fell behind, but not this early and not this much. Samsung have now played more aggressively. Cube's even putting a lot of damage onto Duke.
And not in this way. All of the kills there went over to Samsung's carries. 2 for Crown and 2 for Ruler. The Jin loves getting so much early armor penetration with that gold. And he's definitely set up to make plays, but SKT looking to go on the offensive.
JJ is devoured.
Ambition is here!
Ambition's running in, teleport coming down for Duke. Cube doesn't have his available, but CoreJJ is already killed. Faker was there to join the party. Cube continues to pressure in the bottom inner turrets, and Bang's Ash Arrows have not been the greatest thus far.
Well, he wanted to hit the arrow to stop Jin's ultimate, but Faker charging at your face is also going to cause him to pack up early and leave.
Yeah, they definitely doubled down on that interrupt, but I will say this time it was SKT who was faster on the roam, and CoreJJ's aggressive play on Tahm Kench is punished pretty well there by SKT to equalize those turrets.
How fitting with these 2 teams down to the game 5, going blow for blow, play for play. Still though, Samsung with a slight edge.
Yeah, it's starting to feel more and more like a game of chess. Each move costing units, costing objectives. And at some point, you give away something that is too important. We're 15 minutes in, which team will be the first, because it's still dead even.
And it's even more analogous to chess in this game because they picked kind of the same pieces. the super tank top lane, the physical damage jungler, the magic damage, high DPS mage. Like, it's all kind of fitting together here for these guys to just try and outplay each other with a lot of the same tools.
Brown throws down some damage onto Bengi as he escapes. Faker and Wolf defending that pink ward. Now, next dragon is Cloud. It's up in 40 seconds. SKT already have one.
Now, with the also AD carry split pushing right now, yes, it's technically a 1v1, but the Tahm Kench in mid lane has the ability to get there so quickly. With both top laners no teleport, the Tahm Kench Abyssal Voyage play is huge, and they're actually pinging.
Oh, Ruler's in trouble. Bang's gonna throw down the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. That gets the stun. Flash and heal used by Ruler. Bang manages to turn that one around. Bang gets the win.
Interesting that the Tahm Kench and Cassiopeia didn't decide to join that play. I think maybe because Ruler had been taken so low, they just decided to call it off.
Oh, is this gonna turn it around?
Go for it now. Now they go for it. They delay.
Well, here comes Core JJ and Ambition. It's all about the long game.
Gorgeous play.
Bang will
they
get
can
right
hit him.
down.
Man,
Unbelievable.
the patience on the Tahm Kench right there, thinking that, oh, if they're not going to go the first time he goes aggressive, maybe he's safe. Wolf roams down to the mid lane. As soon as they say Wolf in the mid lane, they know they can't counter the Tahm Kench roam. Beautiful.
And SKT can't even take that mid turret. Now they've grouped up. Okay, Vision is being set up in the bottom half of the map. Dragon is an opportunity for SK Telecom as Duke is wailing away on the outer turret. SKT started this one off. There will be no contest from Samsung Galaxy. Instead, they kept their ADC and jungler up top. I think they should get that tower. Yes, we'll take it very short.
The tables have turned. This time around, it's SKT racking up the extra early Drakes, whereas it's Samsung with the early gold lead. Even after Faker equalizes this mid turret, they will sit on the slight early gold lead. But the only difference is 2 Cloud Drakes for SKT. Now they're down bottom though, and Yubei
is gonna try taxi away. Gets chomped before he can fire the verdict.
And that could be a problem. This is what happened when Duke had the Trundle in their winning games. He just shoves you into the turret, ults you, tanks the turret, and it's a free dive unless you're there to return fire. No Tahm Kench ultimate to lend assistance, and SKT actually jump ahead in gold, as well as having the double Cloud Drakes, which enable them to make many more roams.
Another play here for Wolf.
Is gonna get gobbled up by Core JJ. There's that counter to Ashe that we talked about. That Ashe arrow looked like it was gonna hit until the Devour.
And the big deciding factor is, I mean, we've had so many plays in this game. Both teams are trying to make all these cross-map plays and these counters. With the double Cloud Drake now, SKT are fitted out with rocket boosters to make cross-map plays. And they can answer and punish much, much easier.
No room for error for Samsung Galaxy. Luckily, they've got long-range engage. Ambition looking for Faker. Faker's rooted down. Curtain Call will miss a stationary target. The Devour comes up. And that will at least get an escape route. Faker, a little lucky Ruler didn't connect that shot.
Yeah.
Now the tower's under pressure.
Trying to zone out the engage from the left side while the minion wave comes up there, but the Victor, very good at clearing waves.
Meanwhile, we're seeing the farm being traded by the top laners in their split push. And really, both teams also trading deep vision here in the bottom side of the map, as the Drake is really the point of contest. So that's where most of the resources are going to be used.
Well, it was another Cloud Drake, Kobe. So if SKT already have rocket boosters with
The
two
last.
of them,
This coming Cloud Drake is the last Cloud Drake of Worlds 2016.
And our stats guy Spellsy was really trying to get us to mention a stat about Cloud Drakes, because SKT have gotten way more Cloud Drakes than any other Drake at Worlds. Fitting somehow that they might get triple Cloud Drake in the final game.
Now we spawned all the conspiracy theories.
RNG.
The scripts in the back saying, Cloud Drake again, let's go. We want SKT to run faster.
How do you overthrow a dynasty? Flood them with Cloud Drakes.
Well, Samsung have to still overthrow that dynasty. They have to overcome in game 5. Bengi not going to follow onto that Krug. Again, this is a game of inches at the moment as we're getting close to 20 minutes.
Yeah, Cuvée immediately puts up the steadfast presence there, so Bengi would be denied if he tried to go in and stuck on the other side. Still could have taken it and smited, I guess, but not going to play risky after he was punished at the red buff early on.
And that steadfast presence could become so pivotal when you look at the low mobility Cassiopeia and Jhin. if Bengi's looking to dive in there and find a target, could be denied. And if that is not available, obviously, the safety net of Core JJ's Tom Kench, they've got a very well-crafted sort of multiple safety net team composition here on the side of Samsung.
Yeah, and something that SKT has struggled with this series is actually closing games in which they have an advantage. The Tom Kench and the Cassiopeia is going to make it even harder for SKT to close this game if they are able to extend their lead.
So many opportunities as both teams have drafted many playmaking abilities here for the mid game.
This has been the most even game that we've seen the entire series. It's a very different team composition when you look at the two duos. So Kobe, what are we looking at in the next few minutes? Both teams have got strong initiation tools. There's a dragon coming up in a minute and a half, but it's not the juiciest to fight over. Like, what do you look for if you're these teams?
I expect someone to die over a pink ward or over sweeping a trinket ward here very soon, because both of these teams know the importance of setting up that vision.
Yeah, I think that's how a Samsung player would die. If SKT dies, it's because Core JJ would come in with a friend on a Abyssal Voyage with Tom Kench, since we have a 1-3-1 right now. So either it's someone trying to clear ward, getting hit by an Ash Arrow, or someone in SKT going for an aggressive play and getting countered by Tom Kench.
Or a Jin ultimate, which can serve a similar purpose to the Ash Arrow and landing the slows for the chase down. Now, another thing to keep in mind, because these team fights are very fun to theory craft. With all well,
For JJ, he hasn't used the Grey Health yet. Glacial Fissure slows down Samsung Galaxy. It was SKT that initiated. The Crystal Arrow has already been used. No teleports or follow-up. One flash from Core JJ.
Both mid laners still have their ultimates though, and both top laners as well. Similar amount of tools burned on both sides.
That's just going to slow the game down once again. Samsung Galaxy jumped on as they're just trying to farm and clear out that mid lane wave.
All right, so if we do see the engage, once again setting up those key tools for each team. The Keeper's Verdict for Cuvee. Yeah, exactly. Somebody could die there.
Let's see if Samsung will lose somebody over pink. Well, there's not enough support.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody else is converging.
I just wanted to see it happen.
Cuvee's Poppy, the Keeper's Verdict, knocking out, half of a team basically, and buying the numbers advantage basically, has been huge as well. So it's not just about picking people off. It's also about separating members within a team fight once it spawns.
Absolutely agree. And as far as the map right now, they might catch Faker.
Faker's the target, but he tries to turn it around. Defensive flash from Ruler. Faker is shut down. Ruler gets the kill. Teleport's completed for Duke as well as Cuvee. Unbreakable is up. Ash Arrow stuns up Core JJ. That's not the most important target. Petrifying Gaze flashed away from. Duke is caught down. Core JJ licks him to death. The tower is the focus, and Samsung have the advantage.
Massive catch, and it's as Faker is trying to get aggressive onto Ruler. He does not have the burst this time. They get the mid lane turret, and they can help bring back the speed balance with the Cloud Drake if they're able to take this one.
Definitely going to be able to take this one. I think this is full Samsung territory after those two kills, and they are going to be able to claim one for themselves. The interesting thing about the Cloud Drakes, though, you can't take away any of the speed of your enemy for these dodging of the ultimates. So now both teams have the fast feet, right? Extra Cloud Drake for dodging Ash Arrows could mean the difference between a pick for SKT and avoiding certain death.
Jin ult to try and secure blue. Have to question whether that one's worth it, but let's watch this pick one more time. Faker steps on a trap and just gets rooted as Ambition comes in, but he's also moving forward before he has the support of the rest of his team. Faker getting caught out of position in a critical moment here.
And instantly, this turns into every single member of both teams headed mid lane for that party. Samsung arrive first, and they also go for the turret dive to grab the last one. Cuvee with a nice little flash move at the end there to snag him.
Petrifying Gaze was even just a little bit short.
Yeah, missed everyone.
Could have turned even more in favor of Samsung. No flashes for any members of SSG right now. So you could expect the next few minutes to slow it down. They've got a minor gold lead. It's not worth the risk of getting caught out.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I also want to point out that SKT doesn't have the same lack of flash punishing skills they've had with their previous team competitions. It's not like Faker can just flash in and one-shot you with Orianna when you're down flash. Here, even if you do get hit by an Ash Arrow without flash, if Core JJ's close, he's just going to devour you and bring you to safety. So the playmaking from SKT is somewhat muted and blocked by the stuff like the Olaf and the Tom Kent that Samsung's been able to put together.
Samsung have been able to get a lot more control in their games. With each game in the series that is played, they seem more together, more reactive, and more on the same page. Not the same level of mistakes that allowed SKT to accelerate with game 1 and 2.
And even though there is this gold lead for Samsung, it's so slight that it's more about completing items and actually getting back out onto the field.
Ambition didn't even use his Ragnarok. Knew Core JJ was in range, and that's exactly what happens. No flash, doesn't matter.
Very closely matched here as they go in for a slow onto Wolf. And any extra damage onto the support, though, is hard to regenerate. They also draw out an ultimate from Bengi. Now, that is one of the big healing tools for this SKT squad, too.
I agree with you. It's the peel that they need to have Wolf at high health. Duke needs to get some tank items. He's kind of in that split push zone right now where you expect him to be that 1v2 raid boss, but he's just not actually shoving up the lanes to split pushable situations, because if they lose control of the mid lane, they lose control of the side lanes too, thanks to the Tom Kent. So Samsung kind of keeping the SKT composition handcuffed and unable to use their best tools.
And that's so important because of how pivotal Duke has been all 4 games leading up to this point. If Duke has to always think twice about an Abyssal Voyage delivering death behind him, it instantly gives advantage to Samsung because they're not under that much or as much map pressure as they have been throughout the course of this best of 5. I think he's going to need to ward hop to safety. We'll get the pink ward. That's his way out. 26 minutes, Kobe, and Samsung.
Still so close.
Again, marginal lead, but it is a knife's edge. There's no real advantage with the kill on the gold, because neither team's going past the river. Like, this is such shallow vision that is being fought over.
If there is, it's the fact that so much of the gold here is focused on these carries for Samsung. Ruler on the Jhin, especially, with the lion's share here.
You know, his last 2 Jhin games have been pretty exquisite. He had 9 kills in their last victory, 3 kills here.
And he shows why, you know, SKT in the beginning of the series prioritized taking it away from him.
Then Ashe slips through, and, you know, even though Ashe had exceptional results in the semifinals, it was also a pick that was largely ignored throughout a lot of the group stage and quarterfinals because of the substantial nerfs that Ashe actually had before Worlds. But still successful Ashe plays, just not this game with all the tools they have to prevent the Ashe arrows from hitting true and leading to kills.
Taking a look at this river, Ruler and Core JJ backing out. Catching a quick glimpse there of Crown, and when Crown won in the semi-final matchup, he was talking about looking forward to the finals and how if Samsung were going to win, Crown would have to be able to go toe-to-toe and step up to Faker. And undeniably, he's done so this series. Has a solo kill under his belt, has not been bullied in lane quite like Ryu was.
Just think back to the beginning of this series and how one-sided it started out, with SKT almost completely destroying Samsung and even having a big lead in that deciding game, where Samsung were able to stall it out 70 minutes.
This has almost been a tale of 2 series. You wonder how Samsung was able to turn it around, down 10,000 gold in game 2 to now be up in game 5 against SKT. It's miraculous, and SKT was pretty much running a victory lap. We were talking about their legacies coming in, and it seemed like it was a certainty, but they messed up at the Baron Pit. Samsung capitalized, and they've just been on fire ever since.
Will the Samsung legacy continue with a win? Will they be declared the 2016 World Champions? We're 30 minutes into the game. All of the summoners are now available once again. I ask the same question I did 10 minutes ago. Is the answer still the same? Vision and or initiation from these ultimates? Because nobody is playing risky right now. They're not trying to push an advantage.
This game is always about vision and initiation, risk tolerance, risk versus reward, how well you execute those plays. With an Infernal Drake now being up, it's all about this lower Drake pit, but can they get a pick beforehand? The answer is no. That gives SKT the ability to move in for some vision.
Such an important ultimate there, burned from Samsung for almost nothing as SKT, Wolf puts up the unbreakable and they're able to weather the storm. Now they have a huge advantage. Their Ash Arrow still available to make a pick.
Ambition
Not the
holding
Olaf,
on
though.
as long as he can. Here comes Core JJ. Kick back. Ambition now throws down the Ragnarok. No Devour just yet, but this will
GP behind them.
lies on the Infernal Drake.
Cancel.
Secured by
have to run.
SKT. Ash Arrow onto Crown. Core JJ eats him, then flashes away. Crown survives with his life. TP wasted and Dragon to SKT.
Cuvée is still pushing in the top lane, and Duke does have teleport. He can easily go back to Fountain and catch those minions, so Samsung don't even get any map pressure out of that. That being said, there was a little bit of, miscoordination from SKT there as they, half of them go for the Dragon, whereas Bangi is using Flash Ultimate on Lee Sin to get a pick, but Bang is DPSing Dragon, not there to finish off the kill. They do get the objective in the end. We can tell how tense it is for these players and how quickly they're making these decisions. Not even time to alert the other member.
And you really have to just take your hat off to these guys. We've been 5.5 hours they've been in these chairs playing these games, trying to decide who will be the world champion. And with plays like that, getting the third Drake against Samsung, getting some of that late game scaling, but still not having the gold, maybe not even having the initiation tools, but having the ability to disengage, we could still be in for many more minutes of League of Legends.
And an Infernal Drake at that, at post 30 minutes. Huge value there in the pickup.
Especially with Elder Dragon being the next one. This time around, a little bit more damage from the Curtain Call, but the Unbreakable blocks so much.
Yep.
Wolf doing wonders with this brawl.
They're throwing it out for the slows to look for those picks. Not finding it, and that once again gives initiation advantage over to SKT with their Ash Arrow. Samsung setting up wards though, so it wasn't a useless ultimate. They got into the red quadrant, placed the wards, and now they're actually trying to sneak in.
They're scouted.
They are
by the
indeed.
hop
Hawk shot comes out. Abyssal Voyage was used, so I think 4JJ jumped over the back of the pit. Ambition, once again, holding onto that Ragnarok, waiting for the Devour. Gravity Field holds him in place, but SK Telecom never stop it. The amount of free vision that you get with those Hawk shots cannot be understated in this caliber of play.
And I can hear it in your voice, Quickshot. This game is so tense right now. I don't know if we've ever had a more tense experience in a World Final.
We have not.
Correct. Maybe even in League of Legends, only because of what's at stake. It's a world championship right now, and we're 1,600 gold different 32 minutes into the game with matched team compositions that have relatively equal scaling. The entire year can hinge on a single moment.
And the two people battling, it's like the prince and the pauper. You cannot be further apart in terms of their histories and their stories coming into this. SK Telecom on the verge of being defeated by Samsung Galaxy.
Not even just the entire year of these two teams. The entire year of every team that's been eliminated from Worlds, all watching and waiting. Oh, Bangi going in for a little duel there with Ambition.
Well, trading a little bit back and forth, gonna kill the Invisible Ward. Will regen.
Faker's ghosting.
Ash Arrow, where will it go? Bang, looking for the target, connects.
They burst.
JJ stunned up. Bengi is gonna kick him backwards. Core JJ's down. Teleport cancelled again by Cuvée.
So big for them to also get the teleport out there in addition to the kill for SKT, and they're starting to close in. Now, Vision's still in favor of Samsung, so SKT, whoa.
But I also wonder how much the history of this series will be in the back of SKT's mind. They started losing this series when they forced a Baron. Normally, when SKT gets a pick on someone like that, they are relentless with forcing Baron. Yet they scatter now. They go back to controlling waves. They don't even look at the Baron.
Well, you have to do your homework here. You have to take step number one, which is clear out the Vision. That's just a support kill. It's a support kill on a Tom Kent who can Abyssal Voyage back to the Baron pit.
Bengi taxes out again. Safeguard. Baron is the only thing these teams are looking at. With 35 minutes in, Duke is finally pushing down the bottom lane. It's the first time he's gone sort of past that river in what feels like 10 or 15 minutes. The threat of the engage from Core JJ has kept him at bay, and Core JJ...
Oh, they get
the
wrong guy.
devoured and hit the wrong man. Whew.
Oh yeah,
This is-
that's what Tom Kench does.
Yeah.
That's what Bang is thinking. All right, they're not.
Oh, Crown is really low.
A lot of damage from the Chaos Storm. Core JJ is going to gobble him up. That will block the next few ticks, and it's coming apart at the hinges. SKT getting more and more and more.
Olaf is incredibly useless without the ultimate and Ghost this late in the game. This team doesn't have extra speed for him, so Ambition is going to be waiting for those cooldowns to come back up before he can have any sort of meaningful impact in the team fight now. And SKT, these small advantages adding up and up.
And you're wondering when they can actually spill over into a real advantage, because they actually, despite getting all the RAS, haven't controlled vision at the Baron pit, and they're not looking to burst it down. It's actually Samsung who is pushing back up towards the mid lane because Faker's in the side wave.
Well, this time around, Wolf is not there to block off the curtain call. The final shot from Whisper is being held a very long time, finally blocked off. Here comes Bengi, kicks back their kick. There's no Ragnarok, loses his life. They've traded jungler for jungler. They only send Wolf away. Cubate's caught up on the gravity field, forced to flash defensively, trading lives of junglers and a few ultimates as well.
And where will the advantages trigger over? Junglers trade their lives because Bengi walks through for a kick while taking harass. SKT with the much higher health bars.
Yeah, and I would have thought that they would have transitioned down to the Drake after that, but they make a beeline for this brush to try and make a brush play on Samsung. Not gonna work though, and they lose out on a bit of the time where they did have some momentum.
Ruler! He gets devoured by Core JJ's in so much trouble. Flashes away to safety. Curtain call not up, and Core JJ dies. Why were they so far forward?
Ruler has done that multiple times, gets super aggressive when unnecessary. This costs his team tremendously. Core JJ sacrifices life and Baron control.
This could be where the advantages spill over. Cubase does have a teleport, but SKT have Baron at half, and they have the vision control.
Here comes Cube and Crown. Petrifying Gaze is available. It's now a 2 versus 4. Flash! Crown is in so much trouble. Concussive blows. Get to Petrifying Gaze. That's just going to delay the inevitable. Crown goes down!
Flashes in a line.
The tension just overwhelms Samsung right there. It's Baron, it's 2 deaths, it's SKT moving towards the other Drake, or will they just take the dead Cassiopeia to try and get turrets?
These players that are new to the championship stage, at the critical moments, Ruler makes a mistake, Crown flashes in a line, and SKT punished heavily.
No flash over the wall for an Elder Drake steal on the Olaf. Huge swing for the veterans SKT as they try and secure their 3rd world championship.
Just a mistake. Look at this flash.
Oh, straight line. He didn't want to flash out because that takes him farther away from the base, and he wasn't close enough to the wall to flash over it, but you still don't flash in a straight line when the Ash Arrow is coming at you, and SKT immediately transition there for the Elder Drake, and now they have their first real advantage of the game. 5,000 gold. Can they close it?
Samsung did not give up earlier in the series, and they will not give up that easily. They still have a full line of secondary turrets to work through before getting to the inhibitor ones. And yes, I do expect SKT to get a massive amount of gold off of this play, as you can see with the Baron power play once again.
Still 2 minutes left on that timer.
Also, this is where the split push Trundle really wreaks havoc, because they can't stop him from killing the turrets, and 4v4, they can't stop the rest of them from killing the turrets because Cube is occupied in the sideway.
The SKT hype train coming into the station once again. Baron and Elder Dragon on them, taking down the inhibitor turret snare onto Wolf.
Cube and Duke fighting in the top lane. The 4v4 looking for opportunities. Bang still has the enchanted crystal arrow, flash and heal. 2 Samsung Galaxy will be looking to take out him or Faker, and it's just such a tough task. Crown's gone up top.
30 seconds left on this Elder Drake, so Samsung really don't want to get engaged in a fight, but they also really don't want to lose 2 inhibitors, so they might
jump onto Bang.
Let's take a look. Unbreakable Wills up on the front line. Ambition not going to use the Ragnarok or the Ghost. Curtain call.
Down.
Not going to be enough to really bother SK Telecom. Wolf sidesteps into the final shot. That still doesn't matter.
Look at how disciplined SKT is trying to play right here. The curtain call comes up. It stalls their push. They actually lose the Elder Drake buff now and don't get any inhibitors down. Despite the 6,600 gold Baron power play, when you're dealing with the triple Elemental Drake Elder, that actually I think is a good hold from Samsung, but there's still now a large hill for them to climb back in.
Definitely a oh, Duke actually gonna have to flash that one. But definitely a well above average Baron power play here for SKT because the game was almost dead even when that mistake came in the mid lane from Ruler. And look how heavy the punishment is.
Yeah. Never bet against SKT. Faker picking the victor away from Crown. 5 kills, max items before 40 minutes. Something he has done so many times this series. But this also means they can't let Samsung match him. They need to be able to use these max items to hammer home their edge.
Seems to be the case as SK Telecom are once again grouped up, using their numbers advantages.
Faker got poked.
Hanging out in the bottom lane, trying to deal with that minion wave. No wards to teleport into, so even though Faker was running low, there's one pink ward which all of SKT have already gotten away from. Samsung in a familiar place, down at 40 minutes.
Down, but not out. Not quite yet. And they continue to play the defensive vision game, clearing out the wards, immediately moving into their own jungle. But man, such a heavy gold swing so quickly. Will they be ready for the extra burst damage? Like, that was such a huge influx of gold. You know, Guardian Angel advantages have to be accounted for. Quicksilver Sashes recently picked up. Bang also has that one available.
Yeah, even the GA on Wolf. I want to think that Ruler needs to stay very far back. He has no magic resist on that Jhin, and Faker with the Lich Bane.
Far back, you say, eh?
Faker can one-shot him if he gets within flash range. That is what that Lich Bane Victor build does.
Well, Faker's played on the front foot. Faker's flashed aggressively with ultimates all day long.
Keep your eyes on Tahm Kench, though, because Core JJ can save a life. Core JJ can save the carries.
He needs to do more than that. He needs to deliver someone to take a life. Core JJ cannot play defensively if Samsung want to turn this one around.
The thing with the Core JJ ultimates at this point in the game is they either need to be at the end of fights or while SKT is split pushing. Because if you're going into a 5v5 with the Tahm Kench, you get wrecked on top of Victor's Gravity Field and Chaos Storm because you're actually just delivering free skill shot accuracy for Faker. Very difficult mode for Samsung to play right now.
Cuvée is able to sidestep those skill shots. 42 minutes. You could feel and cut the tension in the air as SK Telecom are now looking to close the game out. They have not had the cleanest of wins. SKT have made mistakes. They've been caught out of position and then they've overreached at times.
And this is their chance to end this game cleanly because they have almost a full item advantage on all of their players. Everybody on Samsung still needs to fill in an extra item, but the longer the game goes on, the closer Samsung work to that point where they even it up again and have another good shot at a team fight.
Yeah, and with the Baron coming up shortly, that's the moment where SKT need to kind of strike. Samsung's trying to get ward control, but this is where the biggest danger is going to be. This is the most likely SKT is here. You'd think to close it out and win their 3rd World Championship. Can they get the vision control? Can they get a pick if Samsung decides to stop them at Baron? And if they do get that pick, the game is likely over because they then have the Baron buff as well as dead members on Samsung. But they have to do it, and it's not going to be easy.
Samsung still in with a shot. Baron is up in 20 seconds. Elder Dragon probably about 40 to 60 away because, of course, SKT took both of them, one after the other. And we've seen a lot of split priority about which objective they want. Samsung this time around definitely wants that Baron buff. They've only got a single Cloud Drake under their belt. It is not going to be as useful to them.
Baron has arrived. And again, the fight over wards leading into Baron once again will rage as SKT move in to clear them out, but crucially, Ambition got the Scuttle Crab, but even more crucially, has no ultimate for the team fight.
Yeah, but no one to haste him either. SKT immediately turn for the Baron right now.
Teleport
This is
coming.
it.
Olaf can't run toward his
Cuvée,
steal.
the Baron's already secured, taken by SK Telecom. Cuvée finishes off the TP, turns around to try and help protect Ruler. Chaos Storm will allow Ambition, seeing it as GA popped. And Faker with SKT, they get another kill.
Beautifully done by SKT right there. getting Ambition's ultimate and immediately going for Baron and then cutting off his charge.
This is Game 5 SK Telecom, the winningest team in Worlds history, led by Faker, the greatest competitor to ever play the game.
And
they're
Casio
closing
trying to
in the
get a pick. He's not there to clear the mid lane wave.
Faker is even going to sidestep those
Patient though.
bushes.
Faker's expecting him to be in there.
Anticipating it. He knows who he's up against. 25 seconds before Ambition respawns. Baron empowered minions. A super minion coming down the mid lane. In just a moment or two as that inhib falls. SKT, they now turn their attention to the top lane. Bang takes a lot of damage, but it's Ruler that's forced to be devoured. Cube uses the verdict to buy some time. His GA is popped. Crown's looking for a target to use the petrifying gaze. Chaos Storm is almost up for Faker. The second inhibitor falls, and SKT back away. Samsung's base is broken.
SKT looking poised. Their play in the last 20 minutes has been very methodical and clean. They've taken a close game into a 13,000 gold lead and 2 downed inhibitors. They're definitely taking their time. They're doing it right.
The Guardian Angels are now down for Samsung. The 2 inhibitors are now down for Samsung. And this is their last chance.
Yeah, very tense moment here. As SKT has the 2 inhibitors down, looking for number 3.
I can see ZZ Rock Portal in Wolf's inventory. Gonna help continue putting pressure on those side lanes. As, of course, actually used to put pressure on the mid lane. So super minions coming down through the mid. Only 1 inhibitor left standing.
Yeah, and you'd think they'd want to try a Desperation Invade, but they actually don't. They want to try and keep the waves at base so they don't have to desperately engage. With the triple melee team composition, it's very hard to walk through SKT, as we've seen time and time again in this game. But with the Baron buff to 13,000 gold, SKT are trying to push for the championship.
And there's 3 extra lives on SKT as they look for their 3rd championship. 3 Guardian Angels up and available to the 1 of Samsung Galaxy. Cubase's running away. Faker's chasing him down with the Chaos Storm. Bengi's not going to find a target as Core JJ forced to devour Samsung Galaxy. They're running away with their lives.
And time is working against them. The minions are flooding in the base. SKT are knocking at the door.
It seems so close. The super minions now onto the Nexus turrets. Samsung have to respond. Curtain call to buy some time, but it only connects onto Duke. Ambition's not used the Ragnarok or the Ghost just yet. Nexus turret is under threat. A 3rd inhibitor falls, and SK Telecom are doing this by the numbers.
They're just not giving windows for Samsung to engage. The only way Samsung could have gotten a flank is if Cube walks around. Faker burns his ultimate to take Cube low, just so that's an impossibility, and they're very well taking down every single inhibitor. Now they turn for Elder while they're defending the triple inhibitors. Beautiful.
SKT are waiting for the extra super minions to flood into the base while they take this Elder Dragon to return to claim their prize.
Now we were talking about the SKT victory lap in the Game 3 comeback when they had the 10,000 gold lead. This is more likely and closer than they've ever been to winning that 3rd World Championship. Elder Drake up, 3 inhibitors down, double spawns of super minions in every single wave. This would be the time for them to do it.
It feels like SK Telecom know exactly how to play against Samsung's team composition. The arrow this time goes between the goalposts. Cube's under threat. Deadly flourish as Samsung are under pressure. This is buying time for those super minions to pour in. Kick around. Crown's able to flash so he doesn't get caught, but Cube's down.
And it's a war of attrition. They're just waiting for backing them in a fight.
Duke flashes forward, chomps down to kill Crown. SK Telecom have got 2, make that 3 kills. The curtain call is a fitting end to the World Championship as Samsung Galaxy are being dove under their tower. SK Telecom have overcome every challenge. They are the undisputed best team in the world. The SKT reign continues. They win their 3rd World Championship.
And you better believe the crowd's giving a standing ovation after that one. This was an incredibly hard-fought series. SKT had to earn this one till the very end. The way they played the last 20 minutes of that 5th game was incredibly clean.
What an arduous journey it has been for this team. They had to go through RNG, the Rocks Tigers, and Samsung Galaxy showing up as the final boss for them. So incredibly close.
And this year, I think more than any other, their experience shined through. They were never the best regular season team in the LCK. They weren't even the LCK champions in the summer split, but they are world champions.
They peak when it matters. They prepare for the international tournaments. And SK Telecom had elation as much as relief on their faces at the end of that 5-game series.
And so much respect for the players on Samsung Galaxy. The run that they have made this year is incredible.
Yeah, they're going to be very disappointed because they were so close to that Summoners Cup, but I agree with you, Kobe. 2nd place in the world, and coming into this, a lot of people would think, hey, the finals happened in the semifinals, but Samsung made sure to take it all the way to the 5th game and push SKT to the limit.
One last glimpse of the runners-up as SK Telecom hoist the Summoners Cup, your world champions for 2016.
6.5 hours after taking the stage for the finals, SKT is able to win this grueling series. And like you mentioned, Quickshot, elation and relief on their faces, because while they are obviously so happy to win,
SK Telecom have won every world championship they have entered. They are our first defending world champions. Their 3rd title. They have won every international event they have attended in 2016. And they've had one of the most difficult regular seasons they've ever had. What an amazing team. What an amazing story.
and what an amazing series this was as well. The relief from SKT being up so much after 2 games and then still having the mental strength to come back in that 5th game and play so measured and clean, and Faker as well picking the victor away from Crown and really controlling that game with that champion.
Such an incredible achievement for all the members on SKT. Especially Bangi coming back off the bench.
Yeah.
In multiple
Bangi,
best-of-5 series, saves the team.
I saw these jackets earlier, and written on the back is World Champion. SK Telecom once again don the title.
Yeah, the 3rd time they're going to win this championship. You can see how much this means to them. Bangi as well. Just this guy, SKT, struggled in so many games where he wasn't playing, but 6-1 in the games he played from semifinals to finals.
And as we said so many times, the importance of the team game. Yes, Faker is the all-star. He is the leader, but Bang and Wolf as well, now returning champions. And Duke gets to raise his first.
That is some of the most emotion we've seen from Faker all day long. From his stoic villain-style entry at the beginning of the show to some of the disappointment to the losses in games 3 and 4. And we heard him saying, with all of the trials and tribulations of 2016, anything less than a victory would be disappointment.
Coma, also the winningest coach of all time.
And as you can see, SK Telecom meeting League of Legends co-creators Brandon Beck and Mark Merrill on stage to congratulate and receive their World Championship medals.
They're very familiar with these guys by now.
Yeah, how you been the last year? It's nice to see you again
See
for
you
another
again
World
next year.
Championship.
Just saying, last year I held the medals. The podium this year is much better looking.
He's doing a better job than you.
Touche.
Get that thing untangled here.
What an amazing performance. The story of SK Telecom is one for the ages.
Yeah, and we talk about legacy. I don't know how long it will take for another team to try and win 3 World Championships. We were saying beforehand how hard it is to win 1, let alone no one had even made Worlds after winning 1 until SKT did it this year. And now suddenly they win 3 in 4 years. They definitely go down in history. Duke's Trundle so solid throughout all of these games.
And just incredible when you take everything into consideration. We talked about the players sitting on the bench. We talked about the meta changing, the substitutions. The 2 men left, Coma and Faker. League of Legends' most successful coach.
Faker earned it.
Truly a legend.
This was their hardest fought victory. As we head down on stage, where Shox will be talking to SKT.
Thank you so much, and the crowd erupting in chants for SKT. Faker, congratulations, winning the World Championship once again, but it was the most hard-fought victory in all 3 of the titles. How much did it take out of you and out of the team, and how much experience to finally bring it home here tonight?
페이커 선수 우선 3회째 우승을 축하드립니다. 하지만 이번 결승전이 아무래도 지금까지 치렀던 결승전에서 가장 힘들었을 것 같은데 이번 결승전을 치르면서 어떻게 본인 자신과 팀원들이 같이 힘을 내면서 결승전을 이겨냈는지 말씀해 주세요.
이번에 진짜 너무 힘들어서 다들 좀 경기 중에도 힘들어하는 모습이 있었는데 좀 다들 잘 이겨낸 것 같아요. 그리고 이번 시리즈가 좀 제 롤 역사상 가장 힘든 경기였던 것 같아서 그래서 좀 다들 기뻐했던 것 같아요.
I think this series was the most difficult series of my entire League of Legends career. Like, we were really exhausted, and throughout the game, all my teammates, we were not in a very good state, but I'm really glad we were able to come over it.
Yeah, as you say, you had 2 great games and then the momentum seemed to change. Why do you think the momentum changed during Game 3, and how did you get it back in favor of your team?
이제 1, 2경기는 다 이제 이기신 뒤에 3경기에도 유리하게 경기를 하시다가 갑자기 경기의 흐름이 바뀌었는데요. 어떻게 하다 3번째 경기에서 그 흐름이 바뀌었다가 다시 한번 그런 승리의 기운을 5경기에서 가져올 수 있었는지 말씀해 주세요.
저희가 1, 2경기도 좀 그랬지만 3경기 때도 좀 실수가 많았고 또 그때 발언을 하기로 했었는데 그게 좀 저희가 다 같이 판단을 못해서 그런 결과가 나와서 근데 좀 이제 저희가 5경기까지 가면 좀 집중력이 많이 좋다 보니까 5경기 때는 잘 나왔던 것 같아요.
So even though we made some small mistakes during game 1 and 2, I think our biggest mistake at game 3 was hitting the Baron. I think it was a team mistake, but By getting to game 5, we were able to stay concentrated and stay on our game. So I think that was how we were able to win the whole series.
And you won the championship in 2013 at the very beginning of your professional career. You stood right here, you lifted this cup, and you won your first world championship. Now, a lot of time has passed. You have accomplished so much. What does it mean for you to do it again here in Staples Center with Bengi by your side, with Koma by your side, and lift another trophy?
여기 이 스테이플 센터에서 2013년도에 페이커 선수의 첫 롤드컵 우승을 이뤘었는데요. 이 장소에서 다시 한번 뱅기 선수와 이제 꼬마 김정희 코치님과 다시 한번 수원서컵을 들어올 수 있는 이 소감이 어떠신지 말씀해 주세요.
진짜 3년 만에 와보니까 그때랑 거의 바뀐 것도 없고 그래서 많이 익숙한 기분이 들었고 또 그래서 저희 팀원들이랑 같이 우승하니까 뭔가 좀 되게 이상한 느낌이 드는데 좀 표현하기가 어렵네요.
It's really hard to explain in words. Like when I first came to Staples Center, even though it's been 3 years, it just felt really familiar and it felt really good. But winning this tournament once again with my teammates it's a great experience. I can't really express it in words.
The crowd can do it for you. You said in a recent piece with the Player Tribune how you play when you're angry, and that is obviously very, very good. Did you have similar emotions after Game 3 in this one?
이제 이전에 플레이어 트리뷴이라는 곳에서 인터뷰했을 때 본인이 화나면 더욱더 경기를 잘 나온다라고 이제 언급을 하셨었는데 세 번째 경기 이후에 다시 좀 그런 분노 모드로 경기를 하셨는지 말씀해 주세요.
좀 일단 경기가 안 풀리니까 좀 화가 나긴 했지만 뭐 그래도 어쩌겠어요. 그냥 좀 5경기 때 그냥 좀 마음에 가다듬고 잘할 수 있었던 것 같아요.
I did get kind of mad after game 3, but I mean, I can't do much about that. But by game 5, I think it was most important that I was able to calm down once more before the game started.
Well, at the beginning of the series, you looked really calm. At the player intro, you gave an intense stare to all of the crowd, and they've been cheering your name really loudly at the end of the series and throughout the series. Is there anything that you want to say to these fans here and the SKT fans around the world?
이제 오프닝 세레모니 때 이제 매서운 째려보기를 이제 카메라한테 시전하시면서 이제 강렬한 인상을 남겼고 경기 끝났을 때도 많은 팬분들이 이제 페이커 선수를 연호하면서 많은 응원을 보내줬는데 지금 이 인터뷰를 보고 있을 현장 팬들과 이제 많은 팬들에게 한마디 말씀해 주세요. 영어로 해주셔도 좋고요.
뭐 오늘 응원을 많이 해주셔서 정말로 감사하고 너무 많이 응원은 하지 마세요. 다음에 또 올 거니까.
Thanks for cheering us, but don't cheer us too hard because we're going to come back anyway.
Oh. There we go, and we'll be looking forward to it. We'll also be hearing from some other members of SKT later, but first, you can lift a cup, you can do a victory lap with your teammates and celebrate all you want because you guys did it again one more time, won the Summoners Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Faker and SKT.
Three championships in 4 years. That is absolute insanity. This squad deserves all of, the compliments and being lauded with,
Yes,
exactly.
I agree with everything you said.
But let's just revel in this moment for a bit because we really are witnessing, the birth of a dynasty here. 3 times in 4 years is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, and when you have a look at how this team plays and the crispness and the discipline that they bring to Summoners Rift, I really do think that you have to be able to beat them over a 5-game series, and it's just so hard to do. First Rocks, now Samsung, not able to get it done because they're just that damn good.
Exactly. Just looking forward to the evolution of the player intros for Faker. I mean, started very gentle, smiling, waving. Then he had the tumble. He has his broccoli. Now he had the anime death stare. So I don't know what he's going to do next year.
It's all business. He knew he was going to have to fight for this one. So as you can see, we've stepped across the street to LA Live here, and we'll be breaking down today's series and announcing our Worlds MVP in an extended post show right after this look back at Worlds 2016.
每一个区域的队伍都更强，16支队伍每一支队伍都蛮强的。
Your defending champions, SK Telecom T1. Goes right by it, but Hui, level 1 roam! Right down, Bray gets hit. Yes, it is the roam. CLG coming together, showing up on the world stage.
And they have the damage to get it done.
Voice of Light from Maple. They're going to be able to connect. Flash Wolves take down SK Telecom.
Cloud9 have done it. One of the most amazing games I have ever seen.
Peanut's going for the 50-50. He stole it! It's secured! The Rocks Tigers get the Baron!
This is gonna be the year when wildcard teams became a deal. I think, yes. This time we are not just winning, we are looking better than our opponents.
This is gonna be it! San Francisco is going crazy! Brazil scored the biggest goal of the tournament so far!
The greatest triumph. All these minions are hitting the pointless.
Liquid go! He's invulnerable!
He got it.
Oh my God!
They did it.
Oh my God, they did it!
ANX just took down the Rocks Tigers.
Oh, that is a deleted! If ever I've seen one! And G2 are a haste!
Yes, they failed. Yes, they could do better. But, when they had nothing, they have shown their competitive spirit and they fought until the very end.
A little bit too low in this one. It is just a
stole it.
1-for-1. The steal away. Yanko secures a absolutely massive outage break. And EDG are evaporating. And it looks like H2K will seal the deal. Your first seed from Group C.
有得到这个机会，对一个职业选手来说是很开心的一件事情。
This is our big shot. This is TSM's big shot.
Good flash of the exit. Still gets recovery. Man knockup. TSM are getting destroyed. Their hopes, their dreams, they're done. Royal advance to Chicago.
북미 팬들에게 미안하지만 저희도 이기려고 여기 왔고.
Crown moves fast. He gets the signal. Petrifying gaze. Smoothie gets taken down. And it looks like Samsung Galaxy will be moving on.
유럽 SS팀 중에 저희밖에 안 남았는데 그래도 한 끝까지 살아남아서 유럽을 자랑스럽게 하고 싶어요.
Really good point about Olympic Hero. He's just too tanky. The double now Smurf parting it up with a frozen mount and a bit of help from Miracle. Damage is almost enough without Forgiven's time to turn it around. Spear gets himself a triple. There's the quadra. H2K demolish NX.
이제부터 시작이라고 생각하고 있어요.
He hops over the minions, sidesteps a deadly flourish. MLXG is looking for the kill. Sonic Wave connects, resonating strike. Duke might just survive. Mega Man's going up. The boomerang, the excitement, the hyper. Duke survives. SK Telecom advance to the semi-final at World.
He is still chasing on the Deft, who's nearly out of HP. The chase in for Prey. First blood. That's 2 for Peanut. It might be a third. It's going to be the rematch of Worlds last year. Rocks hoping to get revenge on SK Telecom T1, hoping to win a world championship.
눈앞에 결승이 있다 보니까 결승까지 가고 싶어요.
No flash. Oh, never mind. We got more action.
Ryu's in so much trouble. Pounce is flashed away from, but Ambition gets one.
Diddley showing up for Cunningham, and now Ryu has to summon.
Ryu's dead, no doubts about it. Number 1, you gave Crown Victor.
And Ambition, he's got something to prove.
A 3-0 sweep of Europe's H2K will send Samsung Galaxy to the World Final.
크립토나잇 그런 정도까지는 솔직히 느끼지 않고요. 충분히 이길 수 있는 상대라고 항상 생각해왔고 지금도 그렇게 생각하고 있어요.
Rocks doesn't actually have to stop pushing right now. They can delay the recall with that arrow. Gonna get teleported.
He's gonna stop Duke.
They stopped
He
it.
stopped Duke. They're trying to burn it down. Is the stun gonna be enough? Rocks Tigers
There's the chase down, and Gorilla's going to make it rain. Into the bullet time, and it's going to be all the damage he needs. Gorilla getting the kill. Rocks Tigers, one game away from breaking the turn.
How has Bengi been able to train as Nidalee? He's not known as a Nidalee player. They're confident first picking it in what could be an elimination game in Worlds. They're going for Kuro.
Double bomb on a Kuro. Javel's going to land this time, and he's going to get the damage. Yes, he is. First blood in for Faker.
He's out.
The flash of Kuro, the stun of Faker, not going to matter.
Bengi!
And Bengi again.
SKT fight their way back in the elimination game. Bengi subs back and he saves SKT. Now we're going to game 5.
Two Korean heavyweights in the fight of the millennium.
제가 스맵 선수한테 1등 자리를 뺏겨서 아쉬움이 많이 컸고 이번 월드 챔피언십에서 다시 1등을 하자라는 생각을 많이 했고
But they do see Faker, and the Cocoon's not going to land, though, so can they get anything else? The flash chase, it's Smep onto his face, looking for a little bit more, and he's not going to go down. Faker, with just the ghost, gets away with it. It's all MG wrote for this one. SK Telecom Team 1, backs against the wall. Bengi himself, 3-0 against Rocks Tigers in the series, and SKT punched their ticket to their third World Final.
Hello, Staples Center! We don't really know what to expect from this Samsung team. Yes, they've crushed the bracket stage, but they haven't played a team as close to as good as SKT here. Might have some kill threat.
Flash still gets got the last tick. He's on ground. Solo kills Faker. Sidesteps away. Bengi's running in. The kill.
And that's the type of defeat you don't want to have if you're Samsung, because this is the momentum building of SKT's war machine.
It looks like Samsung are coming back. They've killed Faker, found Bengi, and moving on to Duke.
And he's healed.
Take that Ambition! Ambition steals the Elder Dragon. Very good tidal wave. He's found 3. Charges up the Maelstrom. The slingshot. Faker's down. Samsung get 3. Play the Silver Scrapes. Samsung and SKT are going to game 5. Duke flashes forward, chomps down to kill Crown. SK Telecom have got 2, make that 3 kills. SK Telecom have overcome every challenge. They are the undisputed best team in the world. The SKT reign continues. They win their 3rd World Championship.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us as we wrap up our coverage of Worlds 2016 here at LA Live. Of course, let's start with a rough run-through of tonight's series, starting from the very beginning, because SKT, man, they got the first 2 games, 2 run back by Samsung, and then clinched that 5th one.
I mean, this series had 3-0 written all over it, but then in the key defining moments, I saw that line from the official, in the key defining moments, it just kept going wrong, and Samsung kept fighting back somehow.
Yeah, they kept finding these windows to be able to exploit, you know, just the smallest of weaknesses. And even game 1, it looked like it was over. They clawed their way back into it. You know, game 2, that's a little bit more of a stomp, but this team just never gave up. Their resilience for such a young team was really something to behold.
And we saw them grow, honestly, because at first they could only match SKT late game, which obviously is pretty impressive in itself, but they were able to do it game 1, lost too hard in the early game in game 2, and in game 3 when they pulled it back once again in that insane game. And suddenly they actually started playing much better early on, and it became a really, really close final.
I mean, you say impressive to stack up against SKT in the late game. It's impressive to even get to the late game against SKT when you think about it, you know, on the global scale.
And in that last game, they're going to rewatch that because they got ahead and they were looking like they were going to be able to close this one out. The momentum was in their favor. And, you know, they went from just being able to play that late game. Even in the end, the bottom lane was able to, you know, go even. They pick up the Tahm Kench. They completely dropped that meta on his head one more time. And that was just a really brave call, and it was so close to paying off.
Right, and if we look at a couple, you know, key specific moments, I want to take a look at game 2. This is where Faker gets that double kill off of a good ward here in the Raptor pit, or not.
This is the Faker big play on Rise after
here we go.
Bengi here messes up a little bit and uses the kick before the Kindred ulti is down. So it looks kind of bad for SKT right now. It looks like Samsung is trying to force a teleport from them and get a bigger advantage. And then Faker shows why he is so good and why SKT is so hard to beat.
Yeah, why he is one of the best, just in a situation. Not only does he stop the minion, as we pointed out earlier on the Desu, he goes for the creative, aggressive realm warp into the snare, into the outer snare from the Jhin right there. And just these little interactions that they read in the moment, they don't hesitate to make that decision, and they do it as a team, and that's how they stay in most of these games.
And I mean, as Samsung there, what's it called? Like, we'd run through the turret as two people, then they just turn around. Like, there is absolutely nothing you can do. Just the decisiveness and the willingness to, put it all on the line and make a big play was spectacular.
And we thought that that play right here actually killed Samsung completely, because as soon as this happened, Samsung just went downhill. They got caught off multiple times, 4 guys actually getting solo killed across the board just within like 2 minutes. And we're like, okay, this game is over. SKT 2-0 now. Game 3, we've seen this one before. They just start stomping and rolling over people. And it looked that way as well in game 3. It definitely
did.
And then everything went wrong.
We were already on our way out because we knew we were doing the post game here in LA Live. So we were halfway outside the stadium, like one foot out of the door, ready to move out. And then suddenly Samsung kept winning fight after Baron, and we had just an exciting series on our hands.
Well, you talk about that first fight that they won at Baron. Game 3, 28 minutes in here. We're going to take a look at this one because this really was the fight that turned the entire series for Samsung Galaxy.
And it's all about the young AD carry. I mean, diving forward. Had some spectacular moments in this series.
And I think this fight was one of the most important fights we've ever seen in a World Championship final, because not only did this fight get Samsung back into this game, it actually allowed them to keep playing late game team fights and show they were good enough to match SKT in the late game. They won in the end because they had so many dragons as well. And that momentum kind of pushed them into the next game as well. So that one fight alone actually allowed Samsung to pull off more games.
And they showed exactly what you need to do to beat SKT, and that's just honestly relinquish and get rid of the fear. You can't be afraid to pull the trigger. You can't be afraid to go in. Sometimes it'll cost your head. Ruler many times dashed in and died, but if you want to beat SKT, you can't just assume that they always know exactly what they're doing, because just like any other team, SKT will also overreach, and you can punish that, but you got to be swift.
Yeah, 71 minutes, both 80 carries at that 100k damage mark. Both of them actually at 1.4k damage per minute in that game, which is another crazy stat just to try and ponder and make sense of. But Spawn, I want to return to your point and talk about these Samsung players, right? As their journey ended here tonight with a loss, being, runners-up at the World Championship. I mean, we have to remember that this is a ragtag team put together and has only gotten better with time.
Yeah, let's have a look at it. I mean, when you have a look at Samsung, they had White and Blue, two of the greatest organizations in League of Legends. They lose all 10 starters. LPL picked them all up. They go back to the drawing board. They rebuild around Cuvée. That doesn't work out. They don't have great LCK splits. Then all of a sudden they bring in a young team. They get Ambition to lead it. It's a role swap. He's in the jungle position. And it honestly doesn't look great, but they've just got better and better. And that upward trend ended tonight. But wow, did they nearly make it happen.
But it's like we're watching the Powerpuff Girls, but they were missing ingredient number X, and that was, in the end, North American...
CoreJJ, put it in the mix.
Put it in the mix, boys.
As a support.
As a support.
That was the key thing in the end.
Because you can have it all. You can have a great organization. You have Korean coaching culture. You can have Ambition as one of the greatest shot callers, but you need that, that little spicy
and a Clown Fiesta in there to spice it up a little bit.
That's what it is. Yeah, we need that unpredictability of it all. No, but it really does kind of show that just, each cog in the wheel needs to be working here, right? Because they, were unsuccessful as four until CoreJJ comes in and is kind of that final piece of the puzzle. Not to disparage Wraith and the work that he's done with the team, but that they definitely looked better with CoreJJ.
And we joke about it, but he brings experience as a former AD carry now in a support role. That means within the laning phase, he knows what he needs to do to kind of enable Ruler, and he just got a little bit better in those laning phases. And more importantly, he knows when to roam as well. He knows when an AD carry can fend for himself, usually, and that's why he was so good at Vision. He trained himself in the kind of the skill and the craft of a support while also knowing exactly how an AD carry functions, and I think that is definitely not to be overlooked.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. And then the other thing he does is it just looks like he puts the team at ease with his presence on the Rift, because, Cuvée looks unlocked when you have CoreJJ down in the bottom lane, and I think their team fighting is just so spectacular to watch with him. Time and time again, he's flashing forward, looking for those aggressive snares. Generally, if you're the cannon, you're the first one in, it's very easy, just get the exhaust, blow him up. But he was willing to take that on himself, get the initiations on, like, squishy champions like Zyra. We're not talking about an Alistar or Braum here. Really was good.
Yeah, and it's kind of, again, super crazy for me how Samsung never even made playoffs with this lineup until the summer split. Like, that was the first time, once they rebuilt, ever since Season 4, they make playoffs. Cuvée was a guy people look at him as a top laner in SK being like, hey, he's not that great. You know, he's not going to do anything special. He got better and better and better. Core GJ's support, obviously, we talked about it, Crown as well, growing. He was a big talent already, but now he's stepping onto the big stage. You need that experience as well to perform at the highest level. And it's just fantastic to see how some of these players are really stepping up individually, and they are able to match or even beat some of the late matchups against SKT.
And hats off to Crown, because, you know, we were questioning his champion pool, and he does bring out the Aurelian Soul. And that is a really brave thing to do for someone that's always had limited champion pool issues. That's so much respect.
I mean,
there.
our narrative changed after the first 2 games from like, we don't want to see Victor into Orianna again, to game 5, we want to see Victor into Orianna again. So Crown definitely showing that he can really master that champion. Samsung, they showed up a lot of their weaknesses, and to fall in a 3-2 close series versus SKT is honestly, if you would have asked any of their members before Worlds, you guys want to do that? They probably said, hell yes.
I was going to say, as much as it might sting in this very moment to have not walked away with the Summoners Cup, I feel with a little bit of reflection that all of them will be very, very proud of the season that they put together this year. Now, though, we have to highlight our World's MVP, who did some serious, serious work over the last month of competition to bring SK Telecom T1 to their 3rd championship. And no surprise, it's the man himself, Faker.
And you doubted him to Fisio in your top 20. You know, this is a guy that you put number 2. But honestly, he's had such an impressive Worlds run. This guy is, he deserves it. He's the best player to ever pick up a mouse and keyboard in League of Legends.
Yeah, definitely so. No one ever questioned that one. I think in the group stage, you know, we saw...
Or did they?
Well, no. All time, right? I mean, coming into this... I like how Spawn is pulling me down. I'm going to take it down with me. But coming into the group stage, I think Faker had some really good games. And he also had like 1 or 2 questionable games, especially ones against Flash Wolves. So if you got to find one to kind of look at. But ever since we got into playoffs, he just looked unstoppable, honestly. Like, he won every single lane he played. Like, his average CSD coming into the finals, like 15 plus at 15 minutes. That's insane. You know, he just so much pressure, get mid towers every time. And yes, there's a lot of guys playing around him, but they're all supporting him. So he's the big carry who has to pull the weight for the team.
But we're finally, and hopefully for some other players in the world right there, seeing cracks in his armor. Sometimes he is making misplays, or his reactions out of game, you know, very visibly on that player cam, getting upset when things go wrong. We had him getting outplayed by Crown in the 1v1 scenario multiple times, so there definitely is a way to challenge the king, but not consistently, and that's a problem. Faker is just so goddamn consistent over a larger sample size.
And that's what happens when you play on that edge of greatness. I mean, this guy plays so close to danger at every step of the game. And sure, he does overextend at times and get punished for it, but you have to be able to punish him so much. And as Deficio was saying, there's a reason that the best team in the world plays around this player. He is like unrivaled in the ability to be able to take over a game, take over a series.
And I think another spectacular element of it all is it's now finally showcasing how much it is required for him to have solid members on that team around him, right? Because as League of Legends has evolved, we've seen teams that individually are not expected to do much of anything. But yet here they are, right, arriving at a world final, Samsung Galaxy, and challenging the best player in the world. And it's been proven that, okay, now he does need to have that supporting cast in order to make his bid for MVP.
Yeah, no one can win alone. It is a team game. Teamwork is super important, communication, everything. And that's, again, where Faker looks so good, because he's the main shot caller on the team. So not only is he the main carry, he's also the guy making a lot of the calls. He's obviously setting up a lot of these plays where he's calling in people to help him. And it's just super cool to see the synergy between him and the rest of the guys, especially Bengi when he's playing. Him and Faker together are really showing how good a combo can be. And even when they haven't played together for such a long time, this split, they come here when it really matters and show up.
And you like to see longevity rewarded in all sports. Like a roster staying together, sticking it out, going for back-to-back worlds, you know, not ending what could be a dynasty run. It's so nice to see them and Faker put it all together for one more time.
And along with the pride and glory of being the undisputed champions of the world, SKT will take home the lion's share of the world's prize pool, which reached $5 million over the course of the tournament with the help of the League of Legends community.
Yeah, and I think we just have to remember here, sorry to cut you off, Dash. I just really want to add this point about SKT is that it's the organization here we got to look at. They're doing so well, and it's different players coming in. Sometimes Duke joined this year, but Faker and Bengi, they stay.
That's the first time that's ever happened to me. Don't let it happen again. Now you can support the prize pool through November 6th with the final total coming shortly afterwards. All right, now all day long you've been setting in your world's big plays, so let's get a look brought to you by XXX Return of Xander Cage. Now, as Samsung Galaxy fought their way back into this series at DW Penn's Kid 27, my goodness, tweeted, "Evaporation, Kube with the insane Cannonol." Let's take a look.
Very good tidal wave. She's found 3. Charges up the Maelstrom, the slingshot.
That is the dream flank. All members of the back line for Cuvée.
And I think that when we saw this replay, we were like, if Samsung wins, Cuvé's the MVP, because this guy has gone from being mediocre in every sense of the word as a top laner to, you know, pulling out that on the world stage.
I mean, his statistics throughout the entire tournament have just skyrocketed in terms of solo kills, the pressure that he puts in the top lane, his ability to play both the tanks and the aggressive top laners.
Yeah, I was just so happy that he went for the cannon again, despite having the early lead in the first time he played it, and then just not being able to snowball because of one bad ulti and then getting dove over and over. He had the confidence to, you know, have faith in the pick, win his lane again, and then get the beneficial teleport in and just wreck faces in those fights.
But even when he played Poppy, he was able to actually carry team fights with great ultis, you know, good flanks all around. He's just become like a super good player to watch, both early game, mid game, and late game, and that's very unique.
Next up, Golding called out a Lee Sin kick that us here mortals can only dream of, saying, "Ambition, are you kidding me?"
But Cuvée is keeping sight on
Ambition going for Faker! Faker's down! They've got him! Faker's down! Faker was looking actually to try and get some type of aggressive engage when Ambition sneaks around the side. Ooh.
Ambition. Ooh. Confirmed peekaboo champion, world champion. It would be slightly more impressive if Faker didn't have flash. But definitely a really good kick. The biggest thing is that that wasn't the only kick that Ambition did. So many situations he lurked around the corner, he went for the plays, wasn't afraid to close the gap with flash into them to kick Q, even if it cost him his life.
And Lee Sin is such a unique champion because, you know, he can take over early games and he has this trough, and then all you need is that one kick. That one kick can win you a game. And as Crepo was saying, he just had so many of those one kicks.
Well,
you need one kick, but if you have so many of them, it's even better.
So many ones. All right, well, as we've asked the fans to have thrown in their world's big plays, I want to turn to you guys and ask you what your favorite moments from this year's Worlds tournament were. So, Crepo,
I mean, there's a bunch of them, but when I'm looking at favorite players, it has to be Peanut. He was playing fantastically on the Olaf, but just in general, for me, his personality that came out and the way he performed during Worlds was just such a joy to see, and he could definitely counter-gank a couple of good plays here too. Of course, it would help if people would flash the axe, but he can't help it that people...
That's not his fault. He's doing his job right here.
Yeah, his timing on certain counter-ganks and just creativity in gank paths was definitely unmatched up until that point, up until the semifinal.
Also, first time he played it. First time he played Olaf, and that happened.
Well, yeah, he couldn't have asked for it to start a better way, but Peanut really did. You know, I like that you mentioned his personality as well, because he so much did capture the hearts of millions of people watching, and you know, his personality, that joy that he has when he plays, I think that's what the majority of League players strive for, right? Is when we're losing in solo queue, I want to have as much fun as Peanut does when they're losing a game on the world stage.
And you know, with that attitude, he silenced the hopes and dreams of an entire region. I mean, the LPL has really backed EDG going into this World, and Peanut, like, crushed them. That was spectacular.
To say the least. All right, next up, Spawn, what is your favorite moment from Worlds 2016?
You know, I come from the wildcard regions, COPL, and when I was watching the IWCQ, it's just this really unique team in Albus Nox Luna. They're winning like 4-minute team fights in the jungle, and when I got to see them play at Worlds, I didn't think they were going to be able to play the same style, but watching their run, watching how much fun this team had, they play their own picks, and they do it so damn well. I just fell in love with it.
Let's take a look back.
That's it. Last Nexus goes down.
Nox, 2 and 1 in the group. What beasts from the CIS region.
ANX just turned it on its head and Peanut slammed into the wall. ANX turned it up for the double.
This is insane. They're actually beating the Rocks Tigers right now.
Gonna try and get Tele. The smash. Gets him with the flash.
He's alive.
Gets the knife by Miracle. Are you kidding me?
All these minions are hitting the Void Link still. The Nexus is go. The greatest time.
He's gonna get
They did it.
Oh my God, they did it.
All I want to say is that being underdog doesn't mean being a loser. That's all.
I mean, you can only celebrate the run that Albus Nox had at Worlds. I mean, destroying what it means to be a wild card, you know, team. The old image of what a wild card team was.
Bringing it back to the traditional meeting. These were guys that came in and just blue shelled everyone.
That's very true.
I would just put Leakert as my sub if I was like a new team coming up and
motivation.
Yeah, when you're 2 and 2 and you go in a best of 5, put him in, coach.
Put him in. He's gonna play something crazy, and he's gonna do well.
No, don't they put him in the motivational speech category and then put somebody else in.
No, not him even.
I love it. All right, well, Deficio, last but certainly not least, what is your favorite moment from Worlds?
I think I got the best one.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
I'm just gonna to say, we clearly all had the same one here. Praise, fantastic arrow where he hits Duke, stops the teleport, wins the game as well, allows Rox Tigers to finish the Nexus, and it was just fantastic to watch.
Best Ashe player in the world.
All right, let's take a look.
And they even got the pick off on Bang.
Rox doesn't actually have to stop pushing right now. They can delay the recalls. The Ash arrows. Look at the arrow. Get teleport.
He's stopped Duke, which means they can push. But Sveb's running low. But they get it. They're going to win the Nexus. They're trying to burn it down. Is the stun going to be enough? It's not. Rox Tigers answer back with game 2.
Yeah, if we had a nerf teleport, he would have landed just the last 0.5 seconds.
It's so true. It was literally half a second there, but it was such a huge moment. Yeah. And again, in one of the best series in the history of Worlds. But then we had tonight's series, and now I don't really know
which one is best.
Which one is better, right? But to have two back-to-back 5-game series also says to me that this is maybe perhaps the most SKT's ever been tested on their way to a World Championship.
Yeah, I think definitely, apart from the one that they didn't make because Samsung White knocked them out of the gauntlet run. I mean, this World in general has really shaken up like what a lot of people thought about competitive League of Legends. Is the gap closing? No, Korea is still great. However, the wildcard team's catching everyone, and anyone really is fair. Yeah, everyone is really fair game right now.
And it's closing in Korea, at least.
There you go. Right.
Yeah. This is the first time SKT has to play two Koreans. First time they have to play two Korean teams to win the World Championship. Make it very competitive, obviously. And I think in the end, you know, people want to cheer for their own teams, and I understand that. But I think also you just got to watch these teams play, like Rox Tigers SKT, Samsung SKT now. Fantastic games and fantastic best of fives, and we just have to celebrate good League of Legends, and then it doesn't matter where you're from.
Yeah, I think if there was any hope left for fans out there that was like, my team got a little bit unlucky if X didn't happen or Y didn't pass.
Yeah, you're not good enough.
But then you watched Rox versus SKT. At that very moment, all your hope just disappeared because you knew your team was not good enough to play at that level.
Is that what happened with you?
I was enjoying that series.
Last year, the LPL, I was like, unlucky. You know, we would have got them. Just bad group stages, best of ones, all those things. Then I watched the SKT and Rox Tigers just demolished like the two
Both
best teams in China.
Yeah,
that was ugly.
But it really was. Some spectacular League of Legends played on this stage, both tonight and all previous nights. And while it's time to close the books on Worlds, the season isn't over just yet. Join us from December 8th to the 11th when the top players from around the world descend on Barcelona's Palau Sant Jordi for the 2016 League of Legends All-Star event. It'll feature a 1v1 tournament, special game modes, and fire versus ice clashes on Summoner's Rift with pros from around the world voted for by you. That voting begins on October 31st, so stay tuned to lolesports.com. That's very soon.
And, you know, I don't normally endorse players to get back into the 1v1 tournaments, but please send Kira back there again because that guy was so much fun to watch at IWCA last year.
And I had a ton of fun announcing and hosting that event. But we wanted to get a couple more interviews for you tonight. However, the hype sucked all the power out of the building, and we couldn't deliver. Unlucky, and we're sorry about that. But from us here in Los Angeles, we'd like to extend a final congratulations to the 2016 World Champions, SK Telecom T1, and thanks to all of you for joining us throughout the 2016 season from spring to the Staples Center. It's time for us to sign off, so good night, DG, and we'll see you on the Rift.
每一个区域的队伍都更强，16支队伍每一支队伍都蛮强的。
Your defending champions, SK Telecom T1. Goes right by it, but Hootie, level 1 roam! Right down, Bray gets hit. Yes, it is the roam. CLG coming together, showing up on the world stage.
They have the damage to get it done.
Are you kidding me? Hey! Voice of Light from Maple. They're going to be able to connect. Flash Wolves take down SK Telecom.
Cloud9 have done it. One of the most amazing games I have ever seen.
Peanut's going for the 50-50. He stole it! It's secured! The Rox Tigers get the Baron!
This is gonna be the year when wildcard teams became ideal. I think, yes. This time we are not just winning, we are looking better than our opponents.
This is gonna be it! San Francisco is going crazy! Brazil scored the biggest goal of the tournament so far!
The greatest triumph! All these minions are hitting the point like Liquid go! He's invulnerable! He got it! Oh my god! They did it! Oh my god, they did it!
ANX just took down the Rox Tigers.
they failed. Yes, they could do better. But when they had nothing, they have shown their competitive spirit and they fought until the very end.
A little bit too low in this one. It is just he stole it for one. The steal away. Yanko secures a absolutely massive outer tricks. And EDG are evaporating. And it looks like H2K will seal the deal. Your first seed from Group C.
有得到这个机会，对一个职业选手来说就是很开心的一件事情。
This is our big shot. This is TSM's big shot.
Good flash of the exit. Still gets recovery. Man, knockout. TSM are getting destroyed. Their hopes, their dreams, they're done. Royal advance to Chicago.
북미 팬들에게 미안하지만 저희도 이기려고 여기 왔고.
Crown moves fast. He gets the signal. Petrifying gaze. Smoothie gets taken down. And it looks like Samsung Galaxy will be moving on.
유럽의 시스템 중에 저희밖에 안 남았는데 그래도 한 끝까지 살아남아서 유럽을 자랑스럽게 하고 싶어요.
Really good point about Olympic hero. He's just too tanky. The double now. Smurf parting it out with a frozen mouth and a bit of help from Miracle. Damage is almost enough without Forgiven's turn to turn it around. Swear gets himself a triple. There's the quadra. H2K demolish NX.
이제부터 시작이라고 생각하고 있어요.
He hops over the minions, sidesteps a deadly flourish. MLXG is looking for the kill. Sonic Wave connects, resonating strike. Duke might just survive. Mega Man's going up. The boomerang, the excitement, the hammer. Duke survives. SK Telecom advance to the semi-final at World. He is still chasing on the Deft, who's nearly out of HP. The chase in for Prey. First blood. That's two for Peanut. It might be a third. It's going to be the rematch of Worlds last year. Rock's hoping to get revenge on SK Telecom T1, hoping to win a world championship.
눈앞에 결승이 있다 보니까 결승까지 가고 싶어요.
No flash. Oh, never mind. We got more action. Ryu's in so much trouble. Pounce is flashed away from, but Ambition gets one.
Diddley showing up for Cunningham, and now Ryu has to summon.
Ryu's dead, no doubts about it. Number one, you gave Crown Victor. And Ambition, he's got something to prove. A 3-0 sweep of Europe's H2K will send Samsung Galaxy to the World Final.
크립토나잇 뭐 그런 정도까지는 솔직히 느끼지 않고요. 충분히 이길 수 있는 상대라고 항상 생각해왔고 지금도 그렇게 생각하고 있어요.
Rux doesn't actually have to stop pushing right now. They can delay the recall with Asheros. Gonna get teleported.
He's gonna stop Duke.
They stopped
He
it.
stopped Duke. They're trying to burn it down. Is this not gonna be enough? Rux Tigers answer back with game 2. There's the harpoon. There's the chase down, and Gorilla's gonna make it rain. In the full time, and it's gonna be all the damage he needs. Gorilla getting the kill. Rux Tigers 1 game away from breaking the curse.
How has Bengi been able to train as Nidalee? He's not known as a Nidalee player. They're confident first picking it in what could be an elimination game in Worlds. They're going for Kuro.
Double bomb on a Kuro. Javel's gonna land this time, and he's gonna get the damage. Yes, he is. First blood in for Faker.
He's out.
The flash of Kuro, the stun of Faker, not gonna matter.
Bengi!
And Bengi again.
SKT fight their way back in the elimination game. Bengi subs back in. He saves SKT. Now we're going to game 5.
Two Korean heavyweights in the fight of the Millennium.
제가 스맵 선수한테 1등 자리를 뺏겨서 아쉬움이 많이 컸고 이번 월드 챔피언십에서 다시 1등을 하자라는 생각을 많이 했고.
But they do see Faker, and the cocoon's not gonna land though, so can they get anything else? The flash chase, it's Smeb onto his face, looking for a little bit more, and he's not gonna go down. Faker, with just the ghost, gets away with it. It's all MG wrote for this one. SK Telecom T1 backs against the wall. Bangy himself, 3-0 against Rocks Tigers in the series, and SKT punch their ticket to their third World Final.
really know what to expect from this Samsung team. Yes, they've crushed the bracket stage, but they haven't played a team as close to as good as SKT here. Might have some kills, right?
Flash is still getting got the last kick.
He's on
Crown solo kills Faker. Side steps away. Bengi's running in.
And that's the type of defeat you don't want to have if you're Samsung, because this is the momentum building of SKT's war machine.
It looks like Samsung are coming back. They've killed Faker, found Bengi, and moving on to Duke.
And he's killed.
Take that Ambition! Ambition steals the Elder Dragon. Very good title win. He's found 3. Charges up the Maelstrom, the slingshot. Faker's down. Samsung get 3. Play the Silver Scrapes. Samsung and SKT are going to game 5. Duke flashes forward, chomps down to kill Crown. SK Telecom have got 2, make that 3 kills. SK Telecom have overcome every challenge. They are the undisputed best team in the world. The SKT reign continues. They win their 3rd World Championship.